Okay, Jawai. Sorry, Jawai.
Sebab dah beberapa minggu kan, I pun dah lost track. Tapi I think
Alamak.
Sekejap. I think you touch about the what you call that, people, policy, technology, one of the topic that we have covered.
Yeah. Even when they anybody went to the Padu presentation? Anybody went? Ada siapa-siapa pergi Padu?
Yes.
Remember not this PwC guy also talk about PPT? Remember?
Yes.
You talk about the PPT kan? Actually, this PPT you must do it for anything. You must remember this. Any argument what you do is consideration must be given into this PPT. Dia bukan kata ini tak payah apalah, ini forever you any analysis that you do in life you got to remember about PPT. P is people, anything to do with people. Anything to do with people. Maknanya organization punya orang, bosses, leadership, all those things comes under people. Yeah? And then the processes is all the policy, SOP, delegation of authorities, everything to do with that. They all come under the processes. And then technology is all the system. Okay? Right? Okay, that's very simple. Okay, to make life very simple for everybody, either you write short essay lah. Okay, let's agree lah. I think short essay mungkin dalam tu dah Ilham dah tepuk tangan dah. Okay, write short essay, but don't write a short essay about yourself, right? I'm sure you if I give that nanti ada orang nanti kita apa punya assignment ni. Ilham will talk about herself and things like that. Actually, last time I did. You know what last time what I usually do is that for some other tempat lain university, I have like 5 tests, small tests, you know. Eventually some students they tak dapat datang, and then some students say lepas tu kita bagi extra time, injury time, semua tak boleh buat. Last kali I kata kat dia, kita bagi markah Jekyll. You know markah Jekyll, no? You know Jekyll, have you been to Jekyll before? Dennis, have you been to Jekyll before, Dennis?
Yeah, of course, we did.
You have done. I'm asking Dennis. Dennis.
Dennis.
Tak ada you punya ni. Oh, tak boleh dengar. Oh, okay. Dashini, have you been to Jekyll before?
No, I have not.
You should go to Jekyll. Hairul, have you been to Jekyll before, Hairul?
Kalau boleh elak lah.
Ada, pernah pergi?
Nah.
Tak boleh elak. Kalau boleh lah, bukan ni semua orang banyak duit jadi.
Mesti minat ajak lah.
Rizwan ada pernah pergi Jekyll?
Nah.
Apa yang you selalu nampak dekat Jekyll?
Baju, kain.
Yalah, itu barang yang jual. Yang menarik tentang Jekyll apa?
Discount, yes.
So I told my student, kita bagi markah Jekyll 50%. You write whatever nonsense, I give you 50%. Kan? Tapi markah dia 50% lah. Maknanya hantar kertas tulis my name is Ilham, I'm 25 years old, I have apa benda, I duduk sini ni. Hantar satu muka surat, hantar whatever nonsense, 50% I give you markah. Itu markah Jekyll.
Senang, bagus.
Senang.
Terbaik.
Tak, itu kalau
senang gila,
itu yang
thank you, bro.
Nanti dulu itu geng yang nak miss semua benda. Kau jangan lagi macam gitu. Dia makan nak dulu je. Tapi jangan gitu. Kau datang ni nak belajar. Kalau tak nak belajar, baik kau tak join terus. Kan? Ini makan darurat. Dikira orang semua dah buat. Dia tak buat. Tak apa reason pun dia tak tahu apa benda. Sekali dia angkat tangan, sir, I take the Jekyll punya offer. Okay. Kau hantarlah two piece of work, whatever nonsense, you will get 50% of the total marks lah. Okay, so what I suggest you guys to do, I think you can write between 500 words. 500 words is very little. Betul, Zeti? Have you written 500 words before?
500.
Yes.
500 words is something like 45 minutes job. Typing lah, 45 minutes. So you write between 500 to 750 words lah. Janganlah panjang sangat. Okay, you write why HR is important in achieving strategic strategic punya vision of an organization. Write something like that. Your own sentences. 500 words. Tanah ni
Why HR is important?
Why HR is critical lah, critical. in achieving apa tu strategic objective of organization. Kita boleh discuss jawapan dia sekarang. Okay, let's start with those who have switch off their apa tu camera. Okay, Hashida, why HR is very important? Nur Hashida, ada?
Ya, doktor.
Okay, buka kamera. Boleh buka kamera, boleh buka kamera.
Saya kat luar lah, doktor.
Oh, okay, kat luar. Kan I dah bagi tahu you. Betul tak? Betul. Yang kamera tak ada ni, dia mesti kat luar.
Aduh.
Cepat. Apa
What
HR
is
is
important?
Apa ni? Masing-masing nak tulis ni. Dennis nak tulis jawapan ni. Lepas ni, by the end of the class, dia dah siap assignment dia.
Ini saya punya ni lah, pandangan saya lah. What is important HR to our organization. Basically, HR is a manage kita punya staff or staff dalam organisasi. And then HR juga manage to provide the staff, macam kita hire new staff untuk organisasi. And then HR juga menjaga untuk staff lain daripada ni lah, macam contoh medical, untuk salary, dia punya segala kebajikan untuk staff tu sendiri, termasuk training dan training untuk staff dia punya career development. Itu I punya view for HR under my ni lah, organisation lah.
Okay. Alright. Okay. Okay. Let's have Lady Gaga. Lady Gaga, dia mesti tahu siapa Lady Gaga. Lady Gaga, would you like to answer? Dia dah senyum dah, tapi dia tak nak jawab lagi.
Siapa Lady Gaga?
Okay.
Bina.
Somebody else. Different people like Lady Gaga.
Okay, Lady Gaga. The spot is yours.
This is funny. Why is HR important for achieving a company objective? Many reasons. I think one of the things I feel, and this is from a personal opinion, working in HR for quite a number of years, HR is the foundation for any companies. It not just involved from a legal aspect, employee relations. You're talking about your people is what you're gonna bring up. Your people is the reason your company makes money in the first place, depending on your business, obviously. So HR is the foundation that manages this function, so to speak, right? So how HR helps in all this aspect, from a legal to employee engagement, employee relations, and keeping your employees happy, talent acquisition. I can go on for days, but this is kind of the main functions I think HR kind of helps.
All right, looks like your assignment's done already.
Okay, thank you. A plus.
Right. So that's why I said that people, this should not take very long. So I think even people like me can write 700 words in 1 hour, right? So I've already tested while my lecturer was talking in front. I was typing something. You know what happened? I forgot that there was a due date. Suddenly the due date was around 8 o'clock at night. Then it was at 7 o'clock. Then I say, there was something missing. Then I needed to write something like 500 words or something like that, Then I quickly typed something, then I realized I got to 700 words within 1 hour. So even at, even people of like me, who's like twice the age of Lady Gaga, cannot do that. I'm sure you can write faster, can type faster, right? So I think within 45 minutes, alas, while you watch Liverpool walloping Arsenal in the first half, I think by that time assignment pun sudah siap. Betul I think Zeti agrees with me. Betul Zeti? Zeti agree. Okay, so let's share some of the points. Okay, now why HR is very important. First, we always start with company needs a strategy. So the strategy is always is always shared in their vision, mission, dan juga objective here, right? So in order to achieve that, then of course you have to mobilize your resources effectively. So your resources, the most important resources would be the human being, right? So human capital is the most crucial resources. So that is why you need to deploy these people. That's why you have the KPI, you have the performance management, you have all these organization structures and so on. So you talk about that, all right? How you mobilize your resources, the people to achieve apa tu you mission dan sebagainya, and then talk a little bit how HR can support the PPT, people, process and technology. Okay, you talk about the people, you can talk about leadership, organization structure, blah 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 blah, anything to do with people. Termasuklah talent management, succession planning. Actually, by the end of this thing, I think you can easily reach 500 words lah. Kan? I mean, I've seen Ilham typing something dekat TikTok kan. Macam 500 word ni tak ada apa-apa lah. You know? Betul ke? Betul kan?
Doc, can I cadang? Can we stick it to 800 kalau boleh? Just maximum 800 boleh ke?
You done already, is it?
No, not really. But I think 800 would make sense, I guess, knowing how much verbal diary I have.
Tak apa. Boleh. You can write. I think, make sure that you don't write anything less than 500 lah. Right? You can write 2,000 word, no problem. Best student told me she was asking for 3,000. Is it possible? I said, up to you lah.
Itu buat thesis saja.
Yeah. Because dia yang tadi bagi tahu saya, sir, how come we have not been evaluated? Every week kita gelak-gelak saja. Macam mana aku nak tahu aku dapat A ke tak ni? Betul ke? Betul. Would you like to comment? Would you like to comment?
This class ke? From this class ke, Doktor?
Mestilah, bukan kelas lain.
Oh, wow.
Siapa yang suggest tu nak komen, kita tak nak komen.
Pelajar Semelang tu.
Jangan risau. Ni semua orang Semelang, semua pandai kat sini. Okay. Right? So like Tanah Bala was saying just now, he wants to write about 800 words. I think 800 words pun sebenarnya tak ada masalah. Senang je ni. Given the points and so on, I think it's quite easy. I mean, if you realize, 100 words is so simple. You type, dia tak dapat 100 words lah. Kan? Memang sebenarnya sangat mudah lah. Especially if you just you tunjuk, you write something like that. Alright, any other questions? Any other protest? Ada protest? Ada? Salma Abdullah, you nak protest ke?
Saya
Doctor,
tak pernah
the
protes.
500 words, where are we submitting the 500 words to? You rock or we send by WhatsApp to you?
Dekat yang subject lain, you all buat macam mana? You hantar kat Eurox ke kat mana?
Eurox.
Okay, nanti I bagi tahu diorang lah. Selalunya diorang ni akan buatkan untuk I. Nanti I cakap, create satu lah. Eurox macam ni.
Alright.
Okay lah. So senang sajalah. Haris pun dah gelak dah tu.
Deadline tu.
Deadline bila nak? Bila nak deadline?
Before final.
Habis kelas lah. Habis kelas ni terus submit.
Jangan.
Dennis kata no problem. Tanah Balan kata dah siap dah.
Janganlah kata. Next week.
Jangan. Saya tidak cakap apa pun.
Tadi you kata 800 words. You sudah kira tadi.
Yeah, I asked if you can keep it at 800 words. I did not, however, state that
I thought you calculated the number already. I thought you
see. That was a probability question. No. Sorry, I stand corrected. It's a probability question.
Okay. So tak apa, kita tanya ni. Kita tanya si siapa ni. Ilham, when you want to submit the assignment? Cepat.
Oh my God, so much pressure.
Okay. Ni semua tengah tunggu ni. Apa jawapan dia?
You know, it's entirely.
Next Tuesday lah, Doc.
Apa? Sorry?
It's
Next
entirely.
Tuesday lah.
Sorry.
Tak dengar.
Next Sunday.
Next Sunday. Okay. Next Sunday, is it okay?
Yeah, before next class is fine.
Before next class. Next class bukan next week kan?
Within 2 weeks.
2 weeks. 2 weeks lah. Okay lah.
That's why lah.
I think 2 weeks you can submit 2-3 versions already by that time. Doktor pilih lah mana yang lebih baik kan. Takutkan ramai pula orang nak hantar. Europe boleh submit 3-4 version ke? Kan?
Boleh.
Okay. Siapa hantar paling awal dapat markah paling tinggi?
Janganlah macam tu kerja. Nanti saya sabotage semua.
Habis kelas je dah submit dah Lady Gaga. After kelas je sup dah submit lah. Best student.
Tapi kalau benda tu belum ada dalam UROX pun kita tak boleh submit, doktor.
Pandai pun kau. Kita tunggu Isnin depan. Tell them. Can you submit this thing? Okay. Alright. So a few things that we want to cover today sampai pukul 12 lebih. After that, ada orang nak belanja makan keropok kan? Betul ke? I heard just now when I called somebody, I was said, hey, can somebody give the ni kan? But before that, I sent a message to somebody. Dia kata, I tengah goreng keropok ni. Why don't you come over after lunch? Okay lah, no problem. Okay, okay. Ui, minum air pula Ilham. Air apa tu? Tea life ke? Okay, alright. Now, I like to cover a few things. I like to cover about succession planning. Okay, have you heard about succession planning? Pernah dengar succession planning tak? Pernah?
Ya,
Pernah. Ada siapa-siapa tak pernah dengar? Ada siapa-siapa tak pernah dengar? Ni Syed Zaidani ada? Tak pernah dengar? Pernah dengar tak?
Nah, doktor.
Kenapa Prabu dihantar ni? Why is everyone? Kenapa you all hantar you punya IC number ni?
Matching number, doktor.
Attendant.
Oh, attendance. Oh, I thought attendance is like you they whoever attends they capture tak influence ni macam tu. Oh, right.
Dia capture dekat Zoom memang ada.
Ada kan? Dia tahu siapa datang siapa tak datang kan? Okay, okay. No problem. Hi Raisa, how are you today? Selalu Raisa ni pun on juga kamera, hari ni dia tak on kamera.
Hi doktor, sorry kejap. Hi.
Okay, Raisa, tell me, what do you understand about succession planning?
Succession planning
Kenapa kita perlu ada succession planning?
Because there's a strategic process untuk identify developing individual within organisation. Dia nak apa macam mana? Sekejap saya slow sikit.
Tak apa. Kita faham.
The goal is to ensure a smooth transition of leadership, maintain organisation continuity, and mitigate the risk associated with key personal departures lah basically. Itu yang I faham sikit-sikit lah.
Okay. Good answer. So basically, okay, let's try with Syed Zaidani. You want to try Syed? Syed ada?
I think from what I understand from succession planning is maybe passing over of position from a higher position to maybe a group or to the next person.
Okay, something along that line juga. Okay, boleh. Fitri, let's try Fitri. Muhammad Fitri.
Identify and develop talent, doctor.
Okay. You can identify talent and then you can develop them. Fitri ni kalau dia beli plate number memang cantik. F3 saja. Betul? F13. Fitri. Okay. Ini Saiful Nasir. You want to try? Saiful Nasir ada? Okay, let's try Chin Yong Yong. Ada Chin Yong Yong ada?
Chin Yong Yong tadi baru dia suruh I pesan. She just step up from a bit, she'll be back.
Dia bawa step up from Citibank?
Dia step up for a bit. Dia pergi keluar sekejap.
Dia pergi. Okay. Let's try with Ganesan. Ganesan ada tak?
Maybe vision planning. Planning ahead what we have to achieve.
Okay, so when you have an organization, okay, say whatever organization it is like, the first thing what you wanted to do is, as I mentioned earlier, you need to have a vision. Okay? The purpose of any private entities is to maximize profit. Kalau you buka kedai nasi lemak ke, kedai petrol ke, apa-apa, your main objective is to maximize profit. Ataupun dalam bahasa yang lebih senang, profit maximization. That's your main goal. If you are a government organization, macam saya, orang government, ataupun NGO, the purpose is actually to shed values. That's why you are created for whatever purpose, because you have a certain value that you want to give to the public. That's why your main goal is to give that value so that people can appreciate that value. So kita punya goal kalau private organisation maximize profit, kalau kalau government organisation maximize your values lah to the society. Okay, that's the first thing. Okay. Now, when you want to do that, obviously, you have to define your organization culture. Macam mana culture? See, some people wear baju seragam macam askar, police, right? Some organization in a private organization, they insist on people wearing smart, macam pakai suit, kan? Some organization dia kata tak boleh pakai kasut coklat, mesti pakai kasut hitam, for example. When I was in the UK last time, if you work for the audit firm, macam Pricewaterhouse, masa tu Coopers and Lybrand, dia tak panggil PwC, dia panggil Pricewaterhouse, and then Coopers Lybrand. So then when they join, they become PwC lah. And then kalau you join Arthur Andersen and so on, so wearing brown shoes is a taboo. Tak boleh pakai brown shoes. Mesti pakai warna hitam saja. And then, Zadi kena marah dengan isteri ke? Dia cakap,
saya kat office.
Oh, ya ke? Ingatkan tadi saya nampak macam ada isteri bawa anak tu, bukan?
Bukan. Memang staff sini bawa bantal.
Oh, ya ke?
Okay.
Office affair ke?
Bukan. Ada ramai orang.
Apa you kerja hari Ahad ni? Aku ingat aku seorang je datang office.
Memang shift saya memang Sabtu Ahad. Saya cuti weekend.
Oh, right.
Saya cuti weekday, sorry.
Okay. So you have to define your organization. You have to organization how it works lah. Macam Zari katakan. So some organization work 24 hours katakan. When I was working for postman, kita postman. Kalau kita kerja kat post office, if you work in the post office, we are called postman. Cuma kalau dekat Malaysia ni dia agak janggal. Yang perempuan kat kaunter tu you panggil dia postman, kan? Atau postwoman. Kita tak panggil orang tu postwoman. Tapi when I was working in the UK, anybody who works in the post office, they are called postman. Atau apa itulah, ada postwoman ke whatever, tapi dia ada kena dengan post. Kita kat sini postman ni tukang bagi surat je, kita panggil postman. Yang tukang sorting post tu, letter tu, kita tak panggil postman. Actually, postman ni is everybody who works in the katakan. So, they have a set of cultures. So, obviously, they will define what kind of behaviors. Pernah dengar perkataan organization behaviors? Have you studied organization behavior? So, they define how the organization needs to behave, right? Katakan dia punya culture dia dan sebagainya. So when you define all those things, obviously you want a set of people yang have those qualities to work with you, betul? Right? So eventually you want to train them. Of course, when you try to get somebody from the market, and then kalau boleh plug and play lah. Plug and play is easy kan? That means they are ready-made. Unfortunately, in real life, you cannot have plug and play macam easily. Macam hari tu kan Ilham minta siapa join dia? Is it Jawahir ke? Itu siapa yang dia nak? Yang dia offer on the spot kan? Did you offer the right price? Did she accept the offer? Ilham? He accept the offer you. Ada tu kata nak offer. Belum lagi.
He plays hardball with me.
Oh, she's playing hardball. I think the price is not right lah. Kan? Betul, dia dah gelak lah tu. Show me the money. Kan? Show me the money, I sign now. Kan? Okay, anyway. So in real life, you don't get plug and play quite easily. So you need to train the people. Betul lah? Jadi agak. Am I right? So dia ada, itu pasal kadang-kadang bila kita dengar dalam surat khabar, you ask the employee say, local students are not ready-made, cannot plug and play. So suka ambil student dari overseas lah, itulah semua. And then because you hear all this criticism, right? Because they said in overseas, the curriculum is that they allow people to talk and things like that. That's why when I conduct my classes, I ask you people to talk. Sebab kebanyakan universiti memang dia monolog saja. Cikgu dia macam baca berita. Kan? Baca berita, hello, gini-gini. 3 jam. Student pun gini-gini. Betul lah? Kan? So at the end of the day, after 3 years of studying or whatever number of years of study, the student do not have certain skills. They may have the skills of answering final exam questions or how to survive doing assignments, but they do not have other skills like presentation skills, negotiation skills, apa macam-macam lain ada. And actually in real world, you are actually, you have to work with people that you do not know. Kata kalau you dalam kelas kan, it's easy. If you attend the physical classes, after 2-3 months, you make good friends. Kan? You find the people that you can click very well, they become your good friends, your buddies, okay, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, and things like that. But when you go to work, then you have to work with people that sometimes you don't like them. Kan? Macam kata, if I give you an assignment, kan, then obviously you try to hook up with the people that you like, that you trust. In the workplace, if I give you an assignment, then I say, hey, you got to work with this fella, this fella, this fella. Alamak, aku tak suka lah orang tu. But you have no choice, isn't it? You don't have any choice. And you cannot have your best friend working for you, kan, dekat office. So it's not like that. So what I'm trying to say is that in real life, there are other parameters that you have to consider. So when you have to consider these parameters, it also involves cost, training. Cost ni dia ada dua. Satu monetary and satu lagi non-monetary. Okay, the monetary is of course the money. The non-monetary actually pun sebenarnya monetary. Cuma dia tak nampak dalam bentuk duit. Dia nampak dalam bentuk lain, but it can be translated into dollar and cent. Okay, so like for example, time. That's why when you look at the football players, for example, football players, we like to talk about football players because these people are very expensive. So that sometimes clubs, they are very impatient. When they pay a lot of money for a football player, they expect the player to perform almost immediately. But they forgot these players probably playing for different teams. They have different culture. They have different mentality, different style of play and so on. So when they come into your new team, they also need some time for adjustment. And sometimes this adjustment takes some time. Maybe 3 months, maybe 6 months, maybe one season. So by that time, people say, hey, I pay a lot of money for you, but you have not been performing. So you see, during this time, player tu kena pressure pula lagi. Lot of criticism. So demoralized. See, because the expectation is not right. So you people are going to be bosses. So you need to have this in mind. If you want to take somebody yang betul-betul boleh plug and play and things like that, so you must be ready to pay certain amount of money. And then if you take somebody that you think that you are going to train them, then you have to be professional about it. So you have to put some leeway for that person to acquire a new skill set, to understand how people work. So you mesti bagilah something like that. So you need to be good bosses. That's why you come on Sunday to my classes, right? Kalau tidak, tak payah datang lah. Betul? Right? Isn't it? Am I right or not, Aniza?
Yep.
How's the keropok? Is it ready?
Didn't have any keropok. I got yogurt if you want.
Oh, I thought you got a keropok tadi. Okay, so this is the thing you need to understand. So succession planning is about identifying the right talent as suitable for a specific post. So this succession ni maknanya we are preparing another layer of people who are going to take over in the future. So we are training them. Itu kadang-kadang if you see some of the position, they said pemangku, acting position. So they're actually training you. Okay? Now, I used to work for Petronas many years ago. They have a very good system back then, but now I'm not sure. But I think they still adopt the same practice lah. Cumanya dulu, it is a case where even if you are coming from outside, the highest position they could give is a manager. Imagine if you are a director of any organization, then when you apply for a job at Petronas, the most they could give is a manager. Of course, you will not accept the offer kan. Memang banyak ada orang acting director ke, senior manager somewhere ke, and so on. So even though sometimes the price is, say, director lah kan. Director dekat some small companies, they get plus ribu saja, tak banyak small company. But if you work for Petronas, about 15 years ago, a manager can earn about 12,000-13,000, you know. So, but the question is, would I want to take a name card as a manager when I'm already a director? Mestilah you fikir 2-3 kali kan. Nanti kawan kita yang kat luar tu ingat demoted ke. Padahal gaji dia lebih kurang sama saja. But Petronas adopted that because they want to make sure that you at the manager level, you still have the time, or at least because of your position, you can use, you are still required to work within the system where you need to embrace certain qualities, certain behaviors, certain cultures. Kalau you sudah jadi director, you sudah jadi keras kepala, right? So because you are going to be directing people, people have to follow you. So you may have your own way of doing things. So you don't want to follow whatever that is in place. That's why they come out. So they want people to come in as a manager, even though you are 50 years old, you come in and then you learn the system. You learn the system, you behave like one of them, so that they have a good succession planning. So semua orang satu pesen. Tak ada orang keras kepala. Right? So you cannot have your own way of doing things. Right? It's the same thing as in the government. When you join in the past, if you join in as a PTD officer, you've got to join at 41. In the past, there's no such thing as you coming in as a director or whatever. They did that at one time, sekejap je, for a very short period of time, and they see that there's a lot of difficulties. Even though the talent might be right, but acceptance among the staff is not that encouraging, for example. Yeah? Even when I joined a government organization, I also faced some difficulties because when I joined, saya tak start daripada bawah, saya terus jadi sabi. So people would think that, oh, this guy doesn't have a certain understanding of how things are done. Sebab dia expect you masuk daripada bawah supaya you ada culture lah. You are part of the people who undergo through the cultures and so on. Okay, any questions that you like to ask? Ada soalan nak tanya? Any question? Datuk, ada question. Datuk senyap hari ni kat mana, Datuk? Datuk ada tak hari ni?
Driving. Ada. Tengah driving, that's why I'm focusing driving and ways and your class.
Datuk driving kat mana? Tepi pantai ke?
KL.
Oh, KL eh.
Cari makan.
Cari makan. Okay, no problem.
Satu soalan ada. Kalau kita ambil organisasi dekat dunia lah kan.
Ya.
Organisasi mana yang the best system untuk succession planning?
Okay, first of all, maybe I can share with you something like what Shell did lah. Look, kalau Shell ni nak masuk dia susah dulu. I got a job dekat Shell in 2002. But I couldn't take that offer because I was going to do my PhD. It was around the same time lah masa tu. Okay, now they have a very good system. Actually, they when they employ you, they look into many different things lah. So what they do is that when they assess you, of course, I mean over time they reevaluate the assessment lah. So when you go through the assessment and so on, they see your potentials and their potentials. Aniza pun senyum je. Bila cerita potential ni macam you cari you punya partner lah kan. Kalau you cari orang yang lagi tua, you dah tengok dia punya wealth dia. Tapi kalau you muda, umur 25 tahun, 26 tahun, 27 tahun, macam siapa ni, Tanah Balan katakan, Tanah Balan kan, for example kan, masih berumur 25 tahun, dia mesti mencari satu pasangan yang macam dia tengok potential dia boleh jadi director tak? Macam tu lah. Ada assessment kan. Yang ni boleh jatuh kat mana? Director punya position ke, manager punya position ke, dan sebagainya. So they have this assessment. So when they know that you are the elected category punya orang kan. So they know that you can go very far. Ataupun you can reach up to certain level saja. Then they have plans for you. Then they can create a career path for you to actually achieve your potential. But of course, along the way, something can happen. Right? Hari ini kita baru berkenalan. Tapi kalau kita dah setahun berkenalan, and I realize that you are a very good actor, for example, that you may not be a good performer. So they may reassess you again. Yeah? Okay. Now, I can give you my example of when I did my PhD. Okay, I did my PhD at Cambridge University. So what happened was that I had a chance of working with the undergraduates as well. Now, for the undergraduates, if they want to go there, it's very difficult to get in. The competition is very tough. And the students are usually very good lah, generally. However, there might be some students who have the talent or gifted and so on. And they seem to be getting very good grades and I've seen this thing. Malaysian lah juga. Dia pun cakap dekat saya, dia memang tak pernah dapat E lah dalam kehidupan dia. Dia memang senang saja dapat E. So he told me that when he applied to Cambridge, and because all his friends were applying, so he pun apply and then he got in. So he adopted the same behavior, but he forgot at Cambridge the working style is different. No matter how smart you are, you still have to work very hard, and then you still have like schedules that you have to meet. You have a lot of tutoring dan sebagainya. So you must come. Like for example, I have like a class today, and then next week, before I conduct another class next week, within this week we have to meet lagi. And then like ada I akan bagi assignment, and then it's like a 2-to-1 lah, mana 2 student, 1 mentor dekat situ lah. Jadi I akan bagi assessment, and technically you assess every week. So I have to write a report. So student kena buat kerja dan sebagainya lah. So budak ni dia pemalas sikit. Dia jenis orang yang pandai, yang benda ni tak ambil hirau. So after the first year, dia dapat third class. So dia pun, betul aku ni. Kan? But he cannot change because it's not his style. So masuk second year, dia dapat third class lagi. So this is problematic. And then masuk tahun ketiga, dia tak boleh dapat third class. Kalau dia dapat third class lagi, dia tak boleh pergi at the master's level. He cannot do a 4 years course. He can have to finish at 3 years course. So dia pun menggelabah. So in the third year, the university, the college, because the college, the university ni dia bagus macam ni. We like to believe that when we select a student, they have gone through a system, a thorough system, and we pick the right student. So dia punya hand holding dia sangat bagus. In the sense that, then dia tanya budak ni, apa masalah kau ni? So dia kata, I tak faham. Like, you know, okay, what do you want? So the student said, I want a tuition. Untuk semua, okay, apa subjek? Dia kata semua subjek. So he managed to get extra tuition untuk semua subjek, and eventually he got a low second class in the third year, which allows him to do a fourth. Okay, so he managed to do a fourth, and then he was a Malaysian. And then he said to me, there was another guy. He kata, look at the other guy. He came in, he is also similar. Dia jenis A student. Sekali tiba-tiba masuk first year, dia tak dapat first class. Dia dapat up to second class. Dia terus demoralized. Second year dia masuk, dia dapat lower second class. Third year dia dapat third class. And then masuk fourth year, dia tak pass. Dia kata. So this guy was telling me, dia kata, tengok, I lagi terror daripada dia. I started very bad, dan I dapat. Dan ini dapat. What I'm trying to tell you, these two people punya case study is very good. One, over time, he adopted the way how to behave as part of an organization. The other one allows. Dia tak mau percaya pada the culture dan sebagainya. Dia percaya kepada diri dia, dan dia rasa dengan cara dia buat kerja tu, dia boleh sebab. Eventually, dia tak boleh sebab. Okay? Now, Faisal asked these questions, and I said that organization, they decide how they want to be. Just like a tiger or a lion. A tiger has a different behavior than a lion. Even though they are mammals, but they have different behaviors. Sama juga dengan keluarga kan. I mean, I'm sure you people, most of you people are married, have children, kan? Betul kan? So eventually, the way you bring up the children and so on is the way that you believe would be the best. Some parents are laissez-faire, betul? Ada tak parents yang laissez-faire? You know what is a laissez-faire? Anybody has any idea? You know any laissez-faire? Ada? Hairul tahu apa tu laissez-faire? Tak tahu. Rizwan tahu? Tahu tak laissez-faire apa?
Tak tahu, pernah dengar.
Pernah dengar. Lady Gaga, tahu tak apa tu laissez-faire? Tak tahu. Aniza? Laissez-faire ni bebas. Suka tingkau lah. You must know this word. Laissez-faire is a very important word. Laissez-faire means that I leave it to the market, but let the market decide. Maknanya dia tak ada intervention. This word is often used in economics, but it is a word that can be used anywhere. Like leadership pun ada, perkataan ada dalam, kalau you belajar leadership ada laissez-faire. Laissez-faire ni maknanya ada autonomy. Dia kata, okay, kalau kita nak buat macam ni, kita buatlah macam ni. Kalau kita nak buat macam ni, let the market decide what you want it to be. Itu laissez-faire lah. Some family atau some parents are like that. Betul? Is that true ke Ilham?
Betul.
Kan? Especially kalau you are brought up in the European setup, kan, British setup, dia banyak apa human rights dan sebagainya. So anak dia suka hati lah. Kau nak jadi apa, nak jadi orang ke, nak jadi hantu ke, pulang pada kau. Betul Right. Tapi of course the Eastern culture will have different setup kan? Betul tak? Anak-anak, betul tak?
Betul.
Kan the Indian culture dia ada
Betul.
satu anak dia macam ni macam ni macam ni.
Okay,
Atau
how
katakan
is laissez-faire different than self-directed? Is it the same?
sorry macam mana? Come again?
Is laissez, how do you pronounce it?
Laissez-faire, laissez-faire.
Laissez-faire is first time I'm hearing it. Is it different from self-directed?
Self-directed. Okay, in some way betul juga. Tapi laissez-faire ni lebih kepada market determination. So kata dalam society kan, okay, let's put it this way. If you are in a society where human rights is very high, so anak-anak you bila dia lahir dia kata, it's my choice lah. If I want to wear like this ke, baju macam ni ke, apa ke kan. Macam say for example, so you this shit. Anybody knows this group? Anybody knows this group? Anyway, I'm into rock band. Okay. Alamak, tak nampak.
Tak nampak.
Tak nampak
I feel that you're still in London.
Oh, tak boleh lah.
Tak nampak lah doktor dengan you use
Oh, Pink Floyd, Pink Floyd.
Okay,
Pink Floyd ke?
Okay, yeah, Pink Floyd. Shit, I know sebelum bila nampak Pink Floyd.
Okay, we love us some Pink Floyd.
Okay, Pink Floyd, right? Okay, Pink Floyd. How many of you are fan of Pink Floyd? Pink Floyd. Okay, Pink Floyd. Ada satu problem Pink Floyd ni. Ada satu gambar yang ada masalah sikitnya. Okay, ni masalah ni bukan masalah sebenarnya masalah. Sebab Pink Floyd ni dia tahun 60 lebih dia dah wujud. Masa tu yang color ni dia represent benda lain. Sekarang ni dia dah represent benda lain. So aku kena berhati-hati bila pakai benda ni sebab aku pejabat kerajaan. You understand? Those who don't understand, never mind lah. You don't need to understand. Those who understand knows what I'm talking about. Right? Sebab especially dekat Malaysia ni orang tak berapa faham. Dia tengok hampir sama, dia kira sama saja. Kan? So dia bukan tengok ni Pink Floyd. Bila Pink Floyd ni lahir kan. Pink Floyd pun slightly older than Hairul pun. Ada ke Hairul lagi tua daripada Pink Floyd? Kalau Faizul confirm lah dia adik Pink Floyd.
Actually, Doc, if I may just go back a bit. Actually, the word is actually a French word kan? Yang Doc kata pan.
Yeah, laissez-faire is a French word.
It's a French word. And the pronunciation actually, I just checked when Uncle Google, is laissez-faire. It's French. Tapi, you know, just for
aku tak boleh cakap
kita ni
pelik-pelik bunyi dia.
Tak apa, Doc. Tak apa, Doc. Serius sekampung. Serius sekampung. Word of the
pronounce it again.
Laissez-faire.
Laissez-faire.
Oh my God, I feel French already.
That's French.
Okay. But it is, what it means is that we allow the market to determine. So, kalau dalam economics, maksud dia macam ni. If everybody wants to buy, beli. Then the price will increase. Tak ada intervention. So, there are leaders who are like that. Leaders who say, okay, you know what? I'm a popularist, especially popularist. Popularist, dia akan kata, I tak mahu ada sekatan. If people like to do this, let them do. Okay, then I just become an announcer. Okay, hari ni kita semua pergi karaoke. Payah pergi office, for example. Yes, there are people who are leaders who are like that. Popularists. Okay, so it depends on that's what I'm saying. Some families are brought up in that way. I have also worked for an organization where my boss and my MD was very similar to that. But because this word is not very common among those who don't study economics. Kalau siapa yang belajar ekonomi, perkataan dia perkataan yang biasa dengar. Tapi yang kalau tidak, dia tak dengar. And especially dalam leadership. So bila I tanya my boss, hey boss, you don't seem to take any action against any wrongdoers dan sebagainya. It's very simple. Very simple. Okay, satu orang baru dapat ciuman pula.
Sorry, bukan. Because I'm taking care of my dad punya cousin who is OKU. So dia memang duduk dekat my house, so I take care of her. So if you see her walking about and kissing me, that is just her way of saying I love you to me, okay?
Okay, we all love you.
Oh, thanks. I love you guys too.
Okay, so jadi I had a boss who was like that. There were about 30 of us in the office. He doesn't seem to take any actions against anybody. So I asked him, hey, you know that guy is not doing his work. My internet, masa tu was 1990s lah. You know, those days internet baru new lagi, and then we were working for IT companies. Of course, these people are very clever lah main internet kan. Masa tu orang tak jadi IT, tapi orang ni dah main macam-macam game lah. Atau Pac-Man lah, whatever nonsense lah kan. Main tembak-tembak tu semua. Jadi, so So they come to the office and they don't have any project, so they pergi main benda-benda macam ni. So I said, "Hey, why don't we give assignments that?" You know what my boss said? I'm not like that. You see, I treat all these people very nice in such a way that they are adult, they should think what is best. They should know that, we all work together to get certain income so that we all can share that income and you can go back and give this income to your family. So kalau you nak destroy the organization, then you obviously destroy. So I treat them as adults. They should know their responsibilities. So I had a boss who was like that. And then he said, actually, you report to yourself. You don't report to me. So technically, everybody should be responsible. You should know what is good and what is not good. You should do good things to your organization. Itu dia punya strategi. Dia punya mentality was like that. So dia kalau dia nampak Faizul tengah main game, katakan, okay, dia stres, dia bersangka baik kata macam tu. Kan? Okay. So itu yang I kata laissez-faire. Ada pula yang autocrat. Contohnya, hey, why are you using office facilities for personal benefits? Tak boleh. I will charge you apa tu, ataupun I will monitor you, micromanage you kalau you guna internet. Which last time I used to work for one big IT company. After I got my PhD, So at that time, there was a transition between the CEO lah. Actually, all the CEOs tu semuanya shareholders lah. So the CEO who took me in, dia tu the second highest shareholder. Okay, because actually the main shareholder tu passed away, then he was considered to be the most versatile, and then apa benda tu semuanya dia jadi CEO lah, tapi dia bukan the highest shareholder. So and then the company was not the company was okay, but the main shareholder thought that he could do better, so he decided to say, hey, I think you better pass me the baton. Yeah, I'm the highest shareholder, and anak dia lah. So anak dia kata, I nak jadi boss. Okay, no problem. So he made this guy as a chairman, executive chairman. Then this guy, the highest shareholder, becomes the CEO. So then he called me in. Hey, Amir, see all these people making a lot of noise. He said that we have not been given bonus and so on. So he said that actually, can you tell them I already paid 10,000, 10 million. I said, what do you mean? I already paid the bonus. I said, okay. What do you mean by that? Okay. You see, I know that people are not working efficiently, right? They're using office facilities and so on at the expense of the working hours. Okay. So in that perspective, I'm the one who paid the cost, you see. So that cost could have been given, that amount of money could have been given back to them as a part of bonus. Okay. My assumption is that I already paid about 10 million. So I pun kata, okay lah, never mind, I'll do it. So what I did was I did a study on how time was used ineffectively during working hours. So what I did was, because kita punya number of staff tu ramai lah, bukan sikit, ramai, ratus. So what I did was I make it easy. I go and see the HR. Can you give a salary manager berapa range? So I take the average. And then I took the average lah, different level, and then club sokongan dan sebagainya. Okay, so I got the average. Katakanlah manager 8,000, katakanlah sokongan 4,500. You take the average. But we know the exact number of people, so we assume this is everybody is in its range. Then what I did was very simple. I said, okay, I interview some of these people, so kita kena ambil sample size. So we interviewed some of these people. Say, hey Ilham, can I have a chat with you, say about half an hour? Okay, no problem. Can you open your internet? Can you open your email? Dia pun buka. Okay, how many emails do you have? Dia buka office email, lepas tu Gmail, Yahoo, apa, Rocket Mail, or whatever nonsense. Semua dia buka. Okay, right. Let's have a look at this. I mean, how often do you open your email? Dia pun bagi tahu lah. Roughly satu hari saya baca email lebih kurang 1 jam. Okay, no problem, 1 hour. So let's see berapa banyak email yang office related dan tak office related, how much. So eventually you get some ideas. And the answer is that majority of the emails that goes into the mailbox are not office related. And then we take the amount of time that you actually respond back to your friends. Daripada yang tak office related. Lepas tu kita tanya pula, so how long do you actually watch YouTube lah, apalah at that time? Dia pun bagilah. So very, very candidly, they will give you some ideas. And eventually you have some ideas that 2-3 hours of their 8 hours are actually sponsored by company lah to do other things. So you kali pula apa gaji dia satu hari, berapa, 1 jam berapa, and then you kali dan sebagainya over a period of time. Then you also look into other parameters yang lain-lain. You campur, I get about 9 million plus. Okay? And I gave the study to my CEO and he said, exactly like what I said to you. My suspicion is that I have wasted 10 million. Okay? Of which this 10 million could be distributed to those people, to the staff as part of the bonuses. So then they get it. Now you have done the study, tell them, I'm a good boss. I've already paid their bonuses. That's what he did. You get what I'm saying? Okay. So kita ada yang boss yang macam tu. Okay. So then he wanted to create a culture where cost is very important. He want to educate people. You want to educate people that when you come to work, you have to come 8 hours, you have to be dedicated. Because I pay you. Dan ini lain dia kalau you kerja dengan CEO, dengan owner. Kalau owner, dia mesti berkira. Kalau CEO, dia mungkin tak berkira. Seperti kau lah. Betul tak? Am I right? Ni owner Cik Faizul, betul ke? Betul dia lain sikit, dia cerit sikit ni, betul?
Dia tahu harga duit kan? Betul? Dia tahu apa nilai duit.
Dia rasa semua benda dia nak berkira. Kalau you kerja dengan CEO yang makan gaji, lain. Alah tak kau lah. Kau nak balik. Kau nak tidur, kerja kau lah. Kau tahu kerja jalan.
Dia CEO macam tu bekerja, betul? CEO yang bekerja tu dia tak kisahkan duit dia. Owner dia tahu itu duit dia.
Kau kutuk aku lah ni sekarang. You want to come again next semester what? Looks like somebody loves the subject so much. He's coming back next semester. Okay, so apa tu? Okay, so what happened is that you need to have a good sense of understanding how you want to manage. Yeah, good sense of apa tu? Of understanding how do you need to manage or how do you need to structure your organization as such that the culture needs to be embraced. So when you have that very clear in your mind, then you can have some sense of succession. Okay, so you boleh define lah. So kita nak boss macam ni, kita nak staff macam ni. Okay, this is a set of trainings that they need to go through. This is a skill set that they need to have. Kan? Dia panggil protege lah, protege. Betul? Betul ke ni? Lady Gaga, protege, betul? Dia siapa peminat Lady Gaga selain daripada Vina? Dia lagi peminat Lady Gaga tak? Aliza peminat Lady Gaga, big fan. On the way. Tanah belah? Peminat Lady Gaga ke?
No, I'm more of a Sting fan.
Oh, Sting fan. Hey, why you people don't like Lady Gaga? Lady Gaga is a very talented woman, you know.
Saya suka juga.
We're too old lah.
I don't even like Lady Gaga, doctor. I don't even like her.
Oh, you should learn. You should learn about these people. They are very good. They are very successful people, and they behave in such a way so that they can market themselves. You know. Now, let me tell you.
Actually, Doc, Vina gives channels the Annie Lennox vibe. She's got that rock
Oh
star.
yeah.
Annie Lennox lagi bagus.
Actually, Annie Lennox pun
Much
sama.
better.
Annie Lennox pun very
Yeah,
talented
baby.
woman. All these people are very actually you should learn all these people. They are very good strategies. You know, anybody knows about Dashini, do you know Madonna? Are you a big fan of Madonna?
Not a big fan, but I know her.
You know her, she knows you as well.
No, of course not.
Are you WhatsApp buddies or what? Jangan main-main Itu penyanyi Zainal Abidin itu apa tu? Dia WhatsApp buddies dengan apa tu kan? Dengan apa? Siapa that French lady tu apa nama dia?
Celine Dion.
Celine Dion. Si Salma terus ingat tahu saja. You ingat apa? Dia WhatsApp buddy tau. Jangan main-main. Dia pun
Gosip.
Tak adalah. Kawan tu dia mengaku dia kata Celine Dion typhoon dia bukan dia typhoon Celine Dion. Kan dia nanti
Pasal lagu Puteri.
Lagu Puteri ya. Okay, tapi dia kata every year kita hantar selamat hari raya lah apa, selamat berpuasa lah, anything like that. Okay lah, tak apalah. Okay, anyway, let me tell you, when you study strategic planning in the 1990s, you look at old books, when they talk about strategy, when they want to define strategy, they always use the example of two people. One is the general. You know General armies, right? Because general armies, militaries, and so on, they usually talk about strategy. But they understand that you have little appreciation lah on military, not in thing for me lah, for most people. And then people get excited. People like Faizul get excited when you Madonna. Suddenly you see different picture, right? And Madonna's name is mentioned, then suddenly you get a different aura. So macam mana pula Madonna ni boleh masuk dalam strategi? All strategy book always use Madonna as a good example, because in the 1990s people know about Madonna. You know, by 80s dia muncul, and then people can see the success, and then people can connect themselves with strategy now. Now you should study about Madonna. Madonna is a very clever girl. And she studied dekat Ann Arbor, Michigan Ann Arbor. For those who knows, Michigan Ann Arbor is a top university in the US. Jadi bukan sebarangan orang lah. And then she knows that she's not a good singer. Dia bukan macam Michael Jackson ataupun Annie Lennox kan. Annie Lennox boleh tulis boleh main music, atau apa tu, what's that girl's name yang ada banyak tattoo tu? Dia pun rambut pun lebih, dia pun rambut bukan pink, rambut pink. Dia pun style dia macam Vina jugalah. I think she adores Vina so much. So her hair pun color macam Vina. I love the way you lie to me tu. Yang dia, siapa nama dia? Start with S tu.
Rihanna.
Bukan Rihanna. Rihanna tanya lagu.
Bukan Rihanna.
That girl's name. Very powerful voice lah. She can
nama dia Pink juga nama dia.
Bukan Pink. Start with the S. I love the way you lie. I love the way you lie. Something like that. I Google je Rihanna's Animal nyanyi lagu tu, tapi bukan dia.
Beyonce ke?
Bukan Beyonce.
Shakira.
Sabrina.
Ani. Skylar Grey.
Oh, right.
Skylar Grey. I think Skylar Grey adores Vina so much that her style is also like Vina. Okay. Anyway, so all these people you should study. And tapi orang-orang ni semua memang pandai menyanyi, talented. Madonna was different. She knew that she was not a good singer, vocalist lah. Dia bukan a good vocalist. Tapi she was good in other things. She was a performer. Kita performer in terms of dancing tu semua bagus. So she needs to make sure that those things are presented and people still buy the music and so on. So she knows how to climb the ladder. You know, maknanya she strategized a way up to the top. If you know, she was also nudist dalam Playboy dan sebagainya. But she does that on purpose so that she can gain certain limelight. I'm not telling you guys you should do that. But what I'm trying to tell you is that was part of her strategy. Dia bukan buat nonsense for the sake of being nonsense. Today you don't see her doing all this nonsense anymore because dia kata buat apa, aku dah dapat apa aku nak. Kan? Because that was part of her strategy to climb the ladder, and she knew that how to capture the attention of people. Tapi dia bukan bodoh-bodoh. That's why dia sustain sampai sekarang. There were also other people yang tak berapa cerdik, adopted that, but they don't really know where to go. They eventually die after some time lah. I mean, die in the sense of their career and so on. So if you study about Madonna in the past, she was very successful because she was a strategist. Okay? Dalam buku-buku strategic planning, semua ada nama dia. And I say, wow, this must be very interesting. So many of these people were very good. Macam Annie Lennox, dia tak ada masalah. Dia boleh tulis music sendiri. Orang Michael Jackson pun boleh tulis music sendiri. Dia tak perlu orang lain. Many of our local punya talents ni, kebanyakan dia tak boleh tulis music sendiri. Dia tak boleh compose lagu sendiri. Dia mungkin boleh menyanyi. So if nobody writes for them, then they eventually die lah. Okay? So that's what I'm trying to tell you. That's why you need to have this succession planning. Succession planning allows you or the organization to mold you. That's the word. To mold you into becoming a particular ataupun have this particular skill sets so that you can then become the successor lah. Boleh. Lepas tu you boleh jadi apa tu, to take over the positions and so on. Kita tengok parti politik pun macam tu. Dia akan train orang-orang supaya you will emulate apa tu, you emulate your apa tu lah, the leadership bila you take over and so. Betul? Betul ke? Kalau you tengok Singapore kan, dulu masa Lee Kuan Yew before he passed away, when he passed the baton, they make him as a senior minister. That means he was there to mentor the current prime minister, because he was a prime minister for a long period of time. Yeah, the prime minister of Singapore for a very long time kan, for a very long time. So bila dia nak pass tu, dia rasa belum sesuai lagi. So he was a senior minister, and then dia boleh mentor and so on. Yeah. So that is one of the ways actually for people to be successful lah. Takkanlah sampai terjatuh kot, brother. Faizul, sampai tergolek. Okay, are you alright, Faizul?
Kutip sampah.
Oh, ingat tergolek tadi, terkejut tadi. Any
Dia
question?
orang belahak tu tak ada.
Oh ya ke? Any question? Siapa nak tanya apa-apa soalan? Rizwan.
Dia sebut tentang Madonna ni. Madonna ni kita tengok perkara menarik je ada. Dia berjaya membawa image dia. Yang terbaru saya tengok kata, dia baru sahaja saya rasa kurang 5 tahun lepas, dia melancarkan buku kanak-kanak yang ditulis oleh dia. So saya nampak dia berjaya membawa image ni daripada image dulu, image yang ho-ho-ha. Sekarang pula dia ubah image ni, image keibuan, image yang baik. So saya nampak sebenarnya dari sudut perancangan tu, saya nampak tentang kenapa dia buat benda tu.
Dia memang orang yang bijak. Dia bukan ni. Kalau you tengok dia 1980s, you think, oh, she's a bimbo, katakan kan. Itu dia punya dia transform, and then eventually dia buat benda-benda macam ni. Memang that's why I said she is a good strategist sebenarnya.
Her role is that's her persona, but as a person she is intelligent. Yes, I agree.
So these sort of things sebenarnya kita bila belajar organization behavior, so organization behavior ni is a bigger subject than HR. HR ni sebawah daripada organization behavior. So kalau you nak faham cerita macam mana to run a good HR punya department, you need to understand about organization behavior. So that then you understand about leadership, you understand about the quality sets of people that you need, competency dan sebagainya. Because bila kita kata organization behavior, kalau you tak faham ataupun you tak ingat in the future, you just remember benda ni. Kalau you pergi zoo, you nampak banyak binatang dalam zoo. All these animals in the zoo, they behave differently. They have their own kingdom. Yang ni tak boleh campur dengan ni, yang ni tak boleh. Limau tak boleh campur dengan binatang lain, for example. But dia ada kingdom dia sendiri. So they have their own behavior. Imagine organization is also like that. Organization is also like that. They have certain behavior. They train dia punya in the way that they believe that you are going to survive. Harimau dia akan train anak dia macam mana nak cari mangsa dan sebagainya. Same, organization is also like that. That's why when you study, sebenarnya ni I bagi tahu you don't study to get an A. You study because of the knowledge. Because when you study of the knowledge, you realize that the knowledge can be replicated in many different ways. And you can remember forever. Itu yang paling penting dia sebenarnya. Betul? Kalau tak, penat je kau belajar 3 jam, lepas tu masuk keluar. Kan? Duit keluar dapat A tapi tak ingat apa-apa. Betul tak? Betul tak, Nisa? Am I right?
Yep. Prof, like just while we were talking about previously just now Madonna and all, what do you think about like now Harvard actually offering a Taylor Swift course and actually studied her and how she actually survived and changed her image, changed her music genre and everything?
Actually, now if we talk about Michael Jackson, everybody knows, right? If we talk about Muhammad Ali, everybody knows. Now, if you tell somebody Beyonce achieved more than Michael Jackson, orang betul ke? Taylor Swift achieved more than Michael Jackson, betul ke? Because people always think Michael Jackson is like almost close to Elvis Presley kan. Padahal Elvis Presley pun dah jauh kalah daripada dengan Beyonce. Dengan Taylor Swift. Jauh kalah. Tapi nama Elvis tu lagi besar daripada Beyonce. Betul tak? Am I right? Beyonce is the most, apa tu kan, yang paling banyak sekali menang Grammy Award, right? Can you imagine? Tapi kalau kita letak Beyonce selepas Michael Jackson, semua kata Michael Jackson lagi teruk. Betul tak? Semua orang kalau kita letak Freddie Mercury sebelah tu, orang akan kata Freddie Mercury lagi teruk. So terror ni dia punya benchmark dia apa? For example. So it's very interesting when you study about Taylor Swift. Have you, when Taylor Swift first came into the industry, were you all there yang dia nyanyi lagu Romeo and Juliet tu? Yang rambut apa tu, yang croissant punya rambut tu? Do you remember? Many years ago, very apa tu, petite girl, apa tu kan? Dia bukan petite, dia tinggi kan, kurus and singing the songs, and you thought that okay lah, nice looking girl, probably survive 1-2 years after that. Then habis saham lah kan? Right? Eventually, later you realize that actually she writes her own music, right? Then you realize that, you remember in one of the show, apa nama that guy yang datang dia kata, this award should have been gone to Beyonce, not Taylor Swift. Siapa? What event was that? What's that guy's name? Senang je nama dia. Dia ambil tu, dia cakap after that he apologized kan. Because people cannot believe white girl like that can actually achieve so much. Kan? And then you listen to her music and so on. Dia yang buat music dia dan sebagainya. That's why she survived and so on. Now, Harvard likes to do things like this. Harvard likes to study the success of any organization. Sebab Harvard dia suka buat case study. So dia nak tengok macam mana dia survive and so on. So bila Aniza bagi tahu benda ni, I think this is very good. Harvard does this with so many organizations. They can also do this with individuals. I think kalau individual, it takes many years lah for you to achieve. And I think whatever Taylor Swift achieved in so far ni is still considered in a very short period of time. Kan? Macam kata kita tengok ni, Pink Floyd ni. How many decades dia ni kan? Baru dia boleh jual. Orang macam aku pun pergi belilah baju dia kan. RM140 kan. Selai baju. Tak pakai pun. Kan? Nak pakai pun bahaya. Kan? So, but Taylor Swift have achieved this. Pink Floyd dah 5 decade dah. Betul lah? 5 decade dah. Dah nak masuk 6 decade dah. Kan? AC/DC, Iron Maiden tu semua dah. Iron Maiden dah 40 over years dah. Kan? Sorry, Metallica is 40 over years. Taylor Swift ni berapa ni je. She achieved so much. He achieved so much more in a very short period of time as compared to Beyonce kan. Kan? Dia sama macam, you tahu tak, macam tennis player. Tennis player. Today, we have 3 tennis player that actually breaking record. Sebelum tu kita cerita Pat Sampras. You know Pat Sampras or not? Pat Sampras. Tak kenal? Tak. Korang ni hidup tahun bila ni?
Sampras, yes, we do.
Saya zaman jongkok, Doktor.
Zaman siapa?
Saya zaman jongkok.
Oh, okay. Because all these people yang very successful in the past, they never come close to this Joko dan apa ni tau. They never come close. These people won Wembley, Wimbledon pun berapa kali, tapi kita tengah ada orang macam hebat sangat lah. Macam Boris Becker semua kan, ni Faizul peminat Boris Becker kan. Betul Faizul? Tak kenal? All these people,
tak minat.
Actually all these people, dia tak menang banyak sangat tau. Dia menang sedikit saja. Beyond Bob, semua apa tu yang kaki kaduh tu apa, John McEnroe tu semua, dia menang sikit saja. Tapi glamour dia lagi dahsyat daripada orang sekarang. Orang sekarang ni dah menang dekat 20 Grand Slam. Diorang tu single digit saja tau. Tapi dia punya glamour tu sampai sekarang. Now, ada 3 orang yang achieve around 2021 kan. So they are breaking records every now and then. And they still play. Bukan sudah retire. Pat Sampras for many years dia menang berapa banyak saja. Tapi dia punya glamour dia macam Michael Jackson. Kan? So today these things are measured in so many different ways lah. So Aniza, I think it's a very good thing that they study about Taylor Swift. I think in many ways she has changed the landscape. She looks very young. She looks like somebody who's very strategist, who understand how to not only survive but being best in class lah.
Yeah, I
So
think I think she's a billionaire now.
dia memanglah dia mestilah kan, and then peminat dia pun masih ramai lagi yang budak-budak muda dan juga people of her age lah kan. Mungkin Ilham pun peminat Taylor Swift jugalah. Oh, peminat. Errol peminat ke Taylor Swift? Ada baju Taylor Swift? Tak ada, Taylor Swift. Oh. Zeti peminat Taylor Swift ke? Tak ada, tak minat. Zeti peminat apa? Wings.
Doja Cat.
Oh, okay. Ingat peminat Wings. Okay. Alright. So all these things are very important. So we have covered succession planning. So that is succession planning. Now, every time when we talk about succession planning, we also talk about talent management. These two things always come together. So, boleh saya tanya Lim Siang Chin? Lim Siang Chin ada? Ada tak? Ada?
Ada.
Okay, Lim. What do you understand by talent management?
Have to train up your staff in certain different area.
Okay. Okay, let's try Nazrul. Nazrul Lizam. Ada? Nazrul ada?
Sorry, Doc. After succession planning, what did you say? I cannot hear. Sorry.
Talent management.
Apparently, he couldn't hear you. Do you mind repeating that again?
Talent management.
Talent management, Dennis?
Yes. What is talent management?
Something like system or strategic used by HR system.
Okay, let's try ni. Siapa cakap tadi? Prabu
Yeah.
Okay. Tanam? Tanam ada?
Tak.
Tanam ada? Tanam tak ada ya? Okay, Tanam tak ada. What about Sangkari? Arumugam ada tak? Sangkari tak ada ya? Suri Arisia?
Okay, dia macam komitmen organisasi untuk mempertahankan ke ataupun mengembangkan. Betul tak?
Okay.
Try.
Yeah. In some ways that's okay. Okay, let's try Nur Mazlina. Ada tak Nur Mazlina?
Ada, Dok, ada.
Okay, you want to try what is talent management?
Talent management involve activities like recruiting staff training, and performance management.
Okay, all right. Now, if talent is, when you look at talent, you are talking about people, kan? You talk about people. When we talk about people, individuals. Okay, we talk about organization, orang, termasuklah leaders, bosses dan sebagainya. Okay, that is talent lah, maknanya individuals. So these people, dia macam ni okay. How many of you have children? Ada siapa-siapa ada children tak dekat sekolah menengah, sekolah rendah ada? Ada. Hairul hilang dah. Okay, semua ada children. Okay. Hairul ada children? Ada anak-anak? Ada. 4 orang. Okay. Now, I had a boss last time when I was working in Saudi Arabia. He was a Malaysian. He said, if you don't like your staff, just sack the staff. We can dismiss the staff. They cakap, oh, really? Okay. But the only thing that you cannot sack is your family members. Oh, okay. You are stuck with that. So masa tu dia cerita pasal mate dia. So if your mate is not, is not up to a certain standard and sebagainya, you should sack your mate. Macam itulah. Itu dia nak cakap masa tu. ataupun staff yang tak buat kerja ke apa pun, you could sack the staff. But the only people that you cannot sack and basically start with you are your family members. You got to do something with that. So dia punya adopter lain. Kalau family members, we can train them, we can do whatever, because we have to stay with them forever. Betul tak, Aniza? You agree with me? Okay. Kalau your staff, you akan kata, okay, bye-bye. You know, if you're not up to certain standard, I can always find somebody else. So you punya appreciation is less than that. Tu Zade dah nampak macam serious dah tu. Dia pun tengah terfikir, should I just sack some people? Is it something that is doable? Okay. So what I'm trying to say here is that talent is something that you identify. Okay, then it is a position that you take. You kena faham dia ni level dia macam mana. That's why it's very important in whatever you do, you need to do a base analysis. Tahu tak apa base analysis? Base analysis is stock taking. Kalau dalam bahasa audit, stock taking. Kalau dalam bahasa yang lebih senang, identification where you are now. If somebody were to ask, siapa ni, somebody were to ask Reza, can you jump? Reza akan tanya, jump how high? Kalau dia kata, can you jump 6 meter? No problem, send me to the moon, I can jump 6 meter. No problem. And so you need to know the base. Kalau dia kata, can you jump 6 meter? Kalau aku boleh jump 6 meter, macam tu belum tinggi naik kata, aku dah jadi world champion. Break record dah jadi super. Orang yang boleh jump yang meter tu pun 2 meter lebih je. Aku dah boleh jump 6 meter. Kan? So you need to know the base. What is the base? So if you need to understand about your talent, sama juga dengan anak-anak you. So I ask you, how many of you have children? So if you pay attention to your children, then you realize that, oh, dia punya capabilities banyak ni. Okay, the minimum threshold at the university ataupun the minimum threshold dekat colleges ataupun sekolah rendah ke dan sebagainya is up to a certain level, for example. And therefore, in order for you to survive dan sebagainya, you need to at least minimum dia, you kena meet the minimum lah. So that's why you send your children to tuition lah dan sebagainya. Betul tak, Aaron? Kan? So that at least they will achieve the minimum lah. So you are actually managing the talent. Kan? Siapa kat sini yang kerja dekat accounting? Aniza kerja kat accounting tak? Ada tengok accounts?
No.
Tak ada?
Tak ada.
Izwan looks like somebody who counts the money. Betul Izwan?
No, I'm not.
No, tak ada. Somebody use the money.
Yeah, use the money instead of getting money.
Okay. Anybody?
I kerja. I tahu kira duit suami je.
Oh, sorry. Ambil lah. Suami punya account number semua disimpan tu.
Ya.
Siapa yang jaga account, yang boleh tengok account? Office lah sikit-sikit ke, tolong-tolong bos ke, tengok account ada? Ada? Jawahir tak ada? Tak tengok account. Dennis ada tengok account, Dennis?
Dulu I work in accounts lah, but now in operations already.
Faizul mesti tengok account lah, dia CEO kan, dia bos. Semua dia tengok lah. Siapa main-main semua dia tengok lah kan.
I work for people lah. Now also working for people.
Wah, ini wakil rakyat ke apa ni, Dennis?
No lah, I'm a hotelier.
Alright. Okay lah, last class kita pergi hotel dia lah.
Oh, I sudah in the hotel line for about 30 years lah, 30 tahun sudah.
Bagus lah. You hotel kat mana? Kat KL ke?
Sorry?
Your hotel is in KL, is it?
I used to work in KL, Miri, Sarawak, Vietnam,
Sekarang ni kat mana?
Cambodia.
Sekarang kat mana?
Sekarang in Sandakan, Sabah.
Oh, kat Sabah.
You've been here before? Yeah. Come to
Yes,
look for
I was there quite some time ago. I think in 2013 to 14, I went there when I was working for Maida. We were visiting some factories, so we went there lah. Okay, why I ask about you people who tengok account and so on is because now if you look into accounts, then you realize that in accounts there are, kalau you kita buat T balance try balance, ada debit dengan credit. You know this thing, debit and credit? Yeah. Assets are always in the debit. Yang you punya liabilities are in the credit. Okay. So obviously, you want to see all the assets as a debit. Itu yang dikata human capital development. Kita panggil human liability department. Anybody has worked into an organization yang ada satu department panggil human liability department. Ada ke Anissa? Ada? Tak ada? Jawahir? Ada? Let's have a department, human liability department. Ni all the problematic people kita letak dia dalam satu department, kita ada organisasi. This is the director of problematic person. Yeah,
Human is never a liability.
Sorry?
Human or people or staff never a liability. They always
Jadi sebenarnya the term itself talent is because we see that there are potentials in there. Betul tak? Siapa kat sini tough boss yang very little tolerance against all this sort of thing. Mana tak suka buang. Tak suka bye-bye. In anything lah. In terms of you punya staff ke, in terms of personality, ada tak anybody? Tak ada. Ilham baik. Bos yang baik.
I like to think I'm a very good boss.
Oh, good boss. Oh, dia angkat bakui.
Betul lah, bukan angkat bakui. Ini sebab dapat feedback. So okay lah.
Yeah, vacancy.
Jawahir kot, Jawahir.
Ada vacancy. Kawan kita pernah datang hari satu Ahad ke office. I think you offer to the wrong person. Yang sebelah you dalam I punya Windows ni, dia duduk sebelah you je. Jawahir duduk atas you. Yang sebelah, yang Zahir tu dia dah banyak kali in lah. How come I never get the offer? Ada tak tough boss tu? Ada. Hairul tough boss tak?
Depend on situation.
Depends on situation. I think I bukan tough boss. I kesian dengan I punya staff. Kalau staff I buat salah, I yang ambil the blame lah.
Tapi doktor kita tak boleh bagi muka. Okay, like take for example, kita baru, my company, kita baru je buat our year-end performance appraisal. And I was really shocked to dapat tahu my receptionist, dia ambil cuti in 2023 55.5 hari because she utilized all her annual leave medically. Yeah, and that on top of that dia pun ada hospitalized. Dah habis tu semua dia pun ambil unpaid leave juga. Okay, in terms of how we do our performance appraisal, semua orang boleh akan buat dia orang punya self appraisal, and she gave herself almost like 90 over points, over 100 macam tu lah. Then I suruh dia justified. You tell me, you tak ada dekat office almost like 3 months sebab kita kerja 5 hari seminggu and kita ada work from home once a week. And almost 3 months you tak ada dekat company. Macam mana you rasa you deserve untuk dapat that point? Okay. Okay. I am a very reasonable head of department. Okay. I akan reward my staff yang betul-betul buat kerja. Thanks to KPI lah, the performance appraisal. Tapi untuk yang case macam ni, I takkan bagi muka. So, apa yang I buat ialah I put her on PIP, Performance Improvement Plan for second round.
Macam mana you nak letak orang tu dalam tu sedangkan dia dapat 90 lebih %?
No, bila sampai dekat I, as an appraiser, I akan bagi my assessment. Okay, and I will discuss with her over the review discussion. Okay, and then I talk to the the top management lah. So we put her on PIP. I give her another chance, another round of chance. 3 bulan PIP, and I give her warning as well. Okay, so as I said, I'm a reasonable head of department, but at the same time, I'm I can be tough to orang-orang yang macam ni. I cannot compromise dengan orang yang ada issue with tardiness and so on. Okay, rumah dekat, tinggal kat Kota Damansara, office kat Kota Damansara, tapi saya sampai lambat. Something like that. Yeah, as I said, it depends on the situation.
I think you might like me lah. My value per hour is very cheap. I tend to come to office every day. Going home 11 o'clock, semalam saya balik 1 pagi. I think you might like an employee like me. Value for money. Sabtu Ahad pun datang office juga. Okay. Alright. Okay, that is good thing. Because kita satu suku, I saw some people dah muka berkokok nak pergi toilet kan. Tak dapat pergi toilet lagi kan. Before that, I want to ask you a story. Zari dah nak pergi toilet. Dia dah bangun. Okay, Zari, you can go to toilet first, no problem. Dia dah angkat tangan dah.
Bukan doktor, sorry.
I want to ask you something. Ni, you think about it after the toilet break, you give me an answer. You know, this is not a real story lah, fictitious, but I want to see how you think lah. If we talk about whatever we talked just now, I come to me about this thing. You know, there was this scientist who created something where, you know, if you eat this makanan, then you tak payah makan bulan. You know? Payah makan 1 bulan lah. Sekali cucuk saja, you tak payah makan. You tak ada, it's gonna make you self-sustain lah. 1 bulan lah. Mungkin. But of course, when they come out with this thing, then they have to test against animal. But they cannot test against human being. Okay, and then they have to monitor tau. 1 bulan you nak tengok memang you tak curi tulang, tak dicuri makan kat mana-mana lah. So they tested on this dog, this particular dog. So dia cucuk dekat anjing ni, lepas tu dia lepaskan dekat padang pasir. Right? And then dia ada GPS lah, dia monitor the anjing tu, pusing, berlari-berlari ni. After 4 days, or on the 5th day, anjing tu mati. Dekat padang pasir tak ada makanan, tak ada apa semua lah. Padang pasir clear. We'll take a break at 1:30, figure out your answer. Okay? Guys back. Okay. So, apa nak jawab tadi? Zafri nak jawab dulu Zafri nak jawab dulu ke? Ilham nak jawab dulu? Okay. Niza nak jawab dulu. Dia dah angkat tangan dah. Okay, Zafri ke Niza nak jawab dulu?
Okay, yes, please.
Okay, Zafri.
Okay, so the scenario was the test supposed to be without food for 1 month, kan, Prof? Kan?
Yeah.
It was tested.
Dia dah mati.
Yeah, it was tested to the dog. Then about 4 days, the dog died lah. Okay, so kat sini, I think the dog is not trained to be or survive in the desert lah. And of course, the test supposed to be like for food, but water, lack of water lah. So without water, that one lead to the death lah. Okay. Then of course the desert extreme condition, hot, cold, no shelter, maybe predators as well, vipers. Then of course, I think it's not supposed to test to the dog lah.
Okay. Bagus jawapan. Okay. Kita bagi pulang kepada Aniza pula tadi yang beria-ria nak jawab tu. Tangan tinggi sangat. Dia hilang pula dah dia. Okay, Aniza. You found the answer already. Okay.
No, I didn't find the answer. I was just trying to charge my laptop.
Okay.
So, no, I didn't know the answer. I think like Zafri's answer is basically like a very good common sense. I don't not really know much about dog.
Okay. How many people have dogs? How many people have dog? Ada tak siapa-siapa ada? Okay. Okay.
Tana can help me.
Okay, Tana. Maybe Tana has ada. Ganesan pun ada. Okay, lepas ni Ganesan jawab. Okay, Tana jawab.
Maybe we give Ganesan to answer first.
Okay, Ganesan. Ganesan, you want to try first?
Actually, what is the question? Dah lupa lah.
Okay. We injected the dog, right? Right? So there is a new formula. The dog, when lepas dia kena inject, tak payah makan 1 bulan. Right? And then kita lepaskan dog tu dekat desert. Desert, there's nothing there, you know. Then suddenly after 4 days, the dog died. So now the scientists all got puzzled, you know, why the dog died. So they are doing the post-mortem.
Basically because dogs are not meant to be in the desert.
Dog not meant to be in the desert. Okay.
Yeah, because I think because like if you see that certain dogs in they meant to be in the winter time. What they call what the name, I couldn't remember the name. Husky, yes. Okay, if Husky you bring to Malaysia, you need to have aircon, You need to specialize with aircon because I got a I saw
Ini semua jawapan PhD lah. Ini I nak jawapan layman saja. Jawapan dia banyak sangat. Inilah. Okay, tak apa, tak apa.
I mean, certain dog is meant to be in certain places. So
Okay,
something like that. Yeah.
Boleh. Okay, boleh terima. Okay, this one. Tanah Balam, how many dogs do you have?
I have a poodle dog.
Oh, poodle. Okay.
One. Satu
Satu
poodle.
poodle. Try. Agak-agaknya
Try,
kenapa anjing ni mati?
Well, basically the whole experiment in itself is inhuman. So I takkan setuju untuk buat eksperimen tu first. So sorry lah. That's my take. I wouldn't do it at all. That's a lawsuit just waiting to happen. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Dogs or cats or whatever, we never do that.
Just for the add-on. I mean, like what our friend said, dogs and cat, they are meant to be loved by humans. So if you're putting them in a desert, so they don't have any love, so that's one of the costs.
And in an academic standpoint, dogs and cats are domestic creatures. They're meant to be in a domestic environment.
Okay.
Okay, that's my point lah. My 2 cents.
Okay. Kita cuba minta apa ni? Kita punya subject matter expert lah. Jawaheed, cuba try.
I juga.
Agak-agaknya kenapa lah dog tu mati?
Dog tu mati sebab I try to relate with what you actually share dengan kita hari ni lah about the succession planning and talent management.
With what kita belajar hari ni.
Because maybe a lack of insight in terms of the skill, the surviving skill of the dog. I mean, we didn't really do a thorough study.
It's a dog lah. Hello, it's a dog. It's not a human being. Apa ni?
I know, wait. That's why I try to relate with doktor punya soalan.
Sorry, I don't mean to be prying. Minta maaf. Continue.
I try to relate with doktor punya soalan. Okay.
Faham.
Haiwan. Okay. Banyak lagi haiwan dekat padang pasir. Okay. I mean, I try to relate with the principle of the talent management lah. Maybe because of lack of insight into the skills of the dog, whatever animals that you use, and then we don't really understand the talent management. Jadi the survival skill pun kita tak educate the subject matter. That's why they cannot survive. So same goes to human. Same goes to when you manage talent. If you tak letak the right talent into the right position, you will fail the whole structure. If you don't give them an appropriate or well-structured program to develop them, you will also screw up the whole plan. That's what I try to relate with the talent management and succession planning.
Okay, right. Ni semua jawapan yang terlebih A. Ni semua terlebih A ni.
Doktor boleh share jawapan bodoh saya?
Boleh. I nak jawapan layman je.
Okay, saya share jawapan layman saya. Jawapan layman saya tu pasal itulah rutin kehidupan kita. Habitat kita perlu makan. Bila satu hari kita tak makan, 2 hari kita tak makan, 3 hari kita tak makan, kita akan resah.
Okay. So dia matilah. Sebab dia ada kelainan.
Jawapan bodoh saya.
Okay. Boleh terima. Dia nampak Faizul ni daripada tadi dia dah analyse semua orang punya jawapan. Dia tak sabar nak bagi jawapan. Okay, silakan.
Sudah ajal dah.
Apa dia?
Memang sudah ajal dia.
Oh, ajal dia. Okay. Sini, you want to try?
Maybe the side effect from the test.
Ini semua jawapan saintifik lah. Aku nak jawapan yang jumpa orang kat coket tu, dia tahu jawapan dia. Yang macam tu. Okay. Dennis, you want to try, Dennis?
As far as I know, I read many stories about human, not dogs. You can survive maybe without food for 1 month, but you cannot survive without water for more than 3 days. Especially now in the desert, no tree, no umbrella, right? No cap. So that's why I think after 3 days the dog died. Okay.
Give you a hint lah. Simple je. Hint. You know why I took the dog or not? Why not a burung or not something else lah? You know why I took a dog? No? There's no tree in the desert. That's why the dog died. The dog couldn't find a tree. Dia tak boleh buang air. Dia dah makan, dia tak boleh buang air. Jadi ada toksik dalam badan dia, matilah. Pokok tak ada.
Aduh, ya ke?
Tu je. Dia panggil.
What a joke.
Ya, dia jawapan mesti jawapan bodoh je.
What I'm trying to tell you is that over a period of time, you need to change. You need to find, you need to survive. So sama juga tadi apa kita kata succession planning. You have a plan, right? This one. But over a period of time, you need to look at it again. Remember I told you just now when you talk about Shell, they have this in mind. But over a period of time, people change. So they need to also adapt to these changes. So kita transform dari satu time to satu time. So this some leadership, for example. How many of you had a family yang quite laissez-faire? That means my parent, okay, it does not apply to your children lah sebagainya, tapi you yourself, you believe that you when you were growing up, you had a lot of choices. That means your parents give you a lot of freedom. Mana kata Ilham, ada lagi tak siapa-siapa? Yang mana kata, okay, you want to study, can study, you want to work, I don't interfere, you want to marry anybody you like, okay, no problem. You know, I'm very supportive. Ada tak? Ada. Itu takkan Ilham seorang je, yang lain ni semua very ketimuran, is it?
Kita orang kampung.
Orang kampung, okay, orang kampung, okay.
Jadi I'm like half-half.
Half-half.
Yeah.
Now, because I spent about 15 years in the UK, 10 years in the UK. So I see a lot of them have a lot of choices because they believe in human rights. At a very young age, these people have already decided, you know, they can decide what they want to do. Nak pergi belajar ke, nak jadi ahli sukan ke, nak jadi apa, suka hati mereka. In fact, after like 18 years old dan sebagainya, they're pretty much on their own. In fact, they could also be renting their parents' house. You know, meaning to say that if you want to stay in the house, you got to rent. Dia bukan free lagi lah, kan? Bukan free lagi. So actually, it's a lot of choices that the choices are given to them. And I also see when I first went to UK, I was very surprised. Many of the bed maker ni bukan yang apa bersih-bersihkan rumah, you know, because I was living in the university accommodation and so on. All these people were old people. I could easily tell that they are about 60 years old lah and above lah. So, yang makcik-makcik ni lah, a lot of them are ladies kan, makcik-makcik ni semua. And I was wondering, why are they still working? So I said, where are your children? So they kata, yeah, they're somewhere working. So I said, how come you guys are still working? Dia kata, memang macam tu lah. Sebab macam tu, it was in 1990s, I went to study in UK. Of course, I have no idea about other people's culture. Because for me, at that time, retirement age in Malaysia was 55. So most of the parents yang 55 when they retires and so on, they live with their children, and our settings are much different from. Kat sana dia kata, oh yeah, their children have their own life and we have our own life. So kalau nak survive kita kena kerja lah, and so on. So what I'm trying to tell you is that organization must also understand over a period of time you transform. Now, you know this PADU thing? PADU, I mentioned to you just now, right?
Yes.
PADU, by all these integrated data and so on. So now, this integrated data and so on, it's new to us, but in the UK, it has been around for more than 15 years.
Alright.
Lebih daripada 2007 lagi, masa saya buat PhD kat sana, masa saya habis saya punya PhD, they already have something similar, whereby one of the things that I realized that they were able to do, that means people were not able to cheat. Because kita punya environment sama macam kat UK. Many of us have only one job saja. One job saja. Because dekat UK, banyak job yang dibayar gaji mingguan, gaji 2 weeks. And you know, kat Malaysia jarang orang bayar macam tu. Orang bayar 1 bulan. That's why you have one job. Kat sana, some people work 4 hours a day for one particular job, and then they do a lot of other jobs. In a day, they buat 2-3 jobs, katakan, for example, just to get certain income. So, obviously, when you do something like that, then you declare to your main job tu, and that's where you pay your income tax. sana income tax are paid macam kat Malaysia lah. When you earn, you already pay the tax. Now, if you have 2-3 jobs, then obviously you have in mind yang job kedua dan ketiga aku tak payah declare lah. Tak boleh. So when you declare, they already have a system, dia pakai NI number card, and kat sini kita guna IC, kat sana dia guna NI card. So they catch you, then they know that you have been working for 5-6 organization at one time. So even though gaji you katakanlah sejam RM5, you kena bayar tax yang tinggi. Sebab dia dah campur-campur, sebenarnya tax tu tinggi. You understand? So this is then obviously people have changed. Now we live in an organization, we live in a world where it's very challenging. Eh? Maybe some of us know how difficult it is to get job. Maybe some of us have experienced that you've been out of job for quite some time. It's difficult to get a job. Some people also have this experience where even if I get a job, it's insufficient. I need to do 2-3 jobs. I remember a few years ago, one of the ex-minister was also saying something like that. So it could be a common thing in the future where people have 2-3 jobs. Weekend dia kerja lain, malam kerja lain, pagi kerja lain dan sebagainya. Because that is how you need to survive. Organizations, tak macam dulu boleh bayar macam-macam, boleh bayar you punya medical dan sebagainya. Maybe this is we're moving into that direction. I tak tahu. Tapi kalau bila saya kat UK, ini perkara normal. Because I have weekend jobs, I have weekdays job, I have night jobs, I have different jobs. So to me, this is quite common dulu. So what I'm trying to tell you is that when you become an HR, that's why when I give you that question, it's very important because you need to know the strategy of the organization. Strategy of the organization does not remain the same forever. It is dynamic. Mungkin 2-3 tahun, you kena 3 tahun tukar sekali. Ataupun you have a mid-term, long-term dan sebagainya strategy whereby you need to evolve. Kan? You need to evolve. Macam tadi Faizul bagi tahu Madonna. Madonna evolved already. You don't see her doing all the things that she did in the 1980s dan sekarang ni. Dia tak buat benda-benda. She started to venture into many different things. And all she wanted to do is to make sure that she is seen as very successful. Successful to dia sustain, kaya, she can do whatever she likes and so on. So many of these people need to transform. Kalau dia nak jadi juga material girl in 1980s, mungkin dah tak laku dah. They are much better looking girl, much better performers dan sebagainya. Dia akan mati dah macam tu. Tak ada siapa orang nak tengok umur 60 tahun pakai apa tu. Dia baju macam tu and sting apa tu, material girl punya lagu. Tak boleh. Dia punya music pun change. Now if you look at many of these people, I'm sure kalau you pergi tanya Siti Nurhaliza, Siti Nurhaliza, nyanyilah lagu yang kau menang dulu 97 tu semua kan. Tahun 90. I'm sure she doesn't sing those songs anymore. The song dah tak ada macam kena dengan karakter dia dan sebagainya. Now she sings different kind of songs, right? Betul tak? And people change. Because they realize if I sing the 1997 punya song yang I menang tu ataupun semua lagu-lagu yang macam tu dah tak kena dengan I punya karakter sekarang sebagai somebody yang very successful, yang terjadi diva and so on. Lagu-lagu tu, lagu-lagu pop dan sesuai untuk zaman dia. Tapi tak sesuai untuk zaman-zaman sekarang ni. For example lah kan. So what I'm trying to say is that strategy is very important. Strategy is very important. HR should follow the strategy. So you need to evolve from time to time. You need to be very dynamic. You need to understand on how to remain maximizing profitability. If you are a private organization, if you are a public organization, macam mana you nak maximize wealth? Even organization pun berubah daripada satu organisasi, daripada one state to another, as you change your strategy and so on. Even if you are in a government organizations, pun you berubah juga. Okay, that's the message that I want to share with you guys, and I hope when you prepare the answers to, you give satu jawapan yang baik lah, looking into this perspective and try to be unique and so on. Kan? Dia tidak susah, tapi dia memerlukan jawapan yang kreatif lah daripada you all. Sorry Ilham, I'm taking your lunch time. So happen that kita punya kelas ni kat lunch time. Ya je.
Doktor, bila sebut tentang bekerja lebih daripada satu kerja, sejauh mana kita nak define ethics dalam bekerja tu? Ya, sebab kadang-kadang setengah-setengah perkiraan kan, bila sahaja seorang tu dia ada 2 kerja kan, kadang-kadang dia mungkin pada waktu kerja yang sepatutnya dia difokus tu, dia terbuat juga kerja lain kan.
Ya,
jadi
betul.
sebagai persoalan HR sebenarnya, macam mana HR nak define dia punya thin line tu kan, sebab dia sebut tentang 2 kerja 3 kerja, ada thin line kat situ.
Betul, betul.
Soalan nak bekerja
This is
1,
very good
2, 3
question.
kan.
This is a very good question.
Macam mana benda tu ditentukan ada?
Betul, betul. This is a very good question because you have seen many of the people, for example, dia ada kerja lain juga. Mungkin multi level dan sebagainya on the side. Tapi dia datang office, dia buat kerja tu lain. Because dia find ada office mate dan sebagainya, easy for me to do marketing, for example. Jadi of course the boss, macam Cik Faizul will be very upset. I pay your salary, you should be doing the job, not doing your own personal punya business dan sebagainya. True. So I said, I think the cultural side of it ataupun kita punya culture tu belum sampai lagi level macam saya dulu. I tell you honestly, when I was in England, sebenarnya saya tak ada sleeping hours. I tell you. Lalunya bila tiba time Christmas saja, 3 weeks atau 4 weeks, 2 weeks before Christmas dan 2 weeks after Christmas ni, saya punya jadual sebenarnya pack. Maknanya 24 jam bekerja. Sebenarnya yang saya tidur adalah waktu rehat saya. So, bila rehat je, I don't talk to other people, I just sleep 1 jam, 2 jam. Jadi kaya lah. Tapi boleh jadi kaya lah. Dalam masa 1 bulan punya kerja tu, bagus ke dia punya gaji. Because you know, during that time, orang bercuti. Jadi kita tunjuk interest yang kita want to maximize our work. Tapi I'm not suggesting you people should be doing that. Tapi dia dah jadi culture dah. Benda tu kita buat. Saya kalau tunjuk saya punya jadual 24 jam, semua bekerja. Daripada pukul 12 malam sampai pukul 12 malam tak ada waktu rehat sebenarnya. Waktu rehat is waktu you rehat dalam bekerja. Ada time tu lagi tidur. I was a postman. I also work in the hospital. Apart from that, I was also working in some other organization dan sebagainya. And I thought that because I said, I got nothing else to do. The university is also closed. I don't have any other social activities. I say, why don't I just work 24 hours selama 1 bulan? Masa tu kita muda boleh lah, tak ada masalah. Dan bila waktu rehat tu kita tidur dekat office kita saja. Ataupun kita tidur kat kantin saja, tak ada masalah. Kan? Masuk lah. Kan? Okay, ya. So what I think is there is a need of cultural change. Sebab tu bila kita kata succession planning semua dan sebagainya, apart from having the strategy, the processes dan sebagainya, you also need to work on the mentality of the people. Mentality of the people. How do you actually manage that? Bila kita kata succession planning, can it be how long is the succession planning? I do not know. Maybe 10 years, maybe 20 years. Kalau you jadi macam dulu, Tuan Mahathir kan, dia ada succession planning. Kawan tu tak sabar. Bila you nak panjin. Tak mau pinjam-pinjam, jadi I pun lawan lah dengan you. For example. Kan? So, it's same as in organization. Sometimes bila you, katakanlah you at the age of 50 years old, and then you pick somebody at the age of 20 years old, and then you tell him that I got 10 years to go. He may say, okay, I'm 25 years old, I can wait. Tapi kalau I dah umur I pun 48, you umur you 50, so I jadi you punya, jadi tak banyak masa. Mungkin I'm not happy. Then I say, takkan aku nak tunggu 10 tahun baru aku jadi bos. Mungkin dia tak nak macam tu. So, you need to manage all this sort of things. Sama juga dengan football players. Sometimes you see some teams they buy young talents. Lepas tu dia kata, I buy you cheap because I want to put you in the reserve dan sebagainya. So this guy say, how long should I wait before I start playing in the first team? Kalau 1-2 tahun tak ada masalah lah. Tapi kalau you nak tunggu sampai 5 tahun, lepas tu nak bagi satu lagi kontrak baru, I might as well join some other teams. Betul tak? We see this thing, a lot of these things happening in good teams. Because sometimes when they buy talent, they got very excited. Then after 2-3 years, these people left because they couldn't get into the first team. And then they say that I cannot spend my youth in the reserve and nobody knows about me. And then I also need to accumulate wealth. You see, I need to be famous. So I might as well join some other teams where I can play as a regular, for example. And banyak macam tu. Sebab tu bila you tengok team-team yang terror-terror, kita, this player rupanya dah main untuk team cabuk, for example. Dia kata lebih baik I main untuk team cabuk, but I get to be on the television, I get to be a superstar, for example. Yeah. Okay, ada soalan apa-apa nak tanya? Sofa, Cik Nyong ada nak tanya apa-apa?
Ada, doktor cakap dengan cepatnya. Tapi, I rasa itu, cakap balik itu dok lah, I rasa kita bukan hanya makan saja kita boleh survive. Kita kena ada emotional punya needs pun. Banyak lain-lain punya hal lah. Macam dia punya tabiat, dia kena cari pokok baru boleh kencing. Itulah pun satu masalah juga kan.
Okay, good. No problem. Nanti kita cari satu friend untuk itu, Dok. Mungkin dia boleh survive lama sikit. Okay, yeah. Right. So we talk about succession planning. We touch on the talent management. So talent management is very important because when you identify your strategy for succession planning, then you know that this is a set of skill set that is required. Tadi before we went to break, kita tanya tadi kan, Raisa, how far did you need to jump? Sebab tu kita kena buat satu baseline. What is a baseline? Baseline tu kita kena tahu where you are today. So kalau dalam consultancy, kita selalu panggil benda ni as is. Have you heard of this term as is? As is. Pernah dengar? AS-IS. As is. So as is, that means a stock take. Kalau macam auditor ni, if I do a audit, this is where you are. Itu yang dia panggil as is. Kedudukan semasa. Lepas tu kalau kita kedudukan di masa depan yang the position that you aspire to be, it is called a 2B. E-O-B-E. E-O-B-E. 2B is the state that you want it to be. So bila kita ada satu talent management, you know what is the S is, you know what is a 2B, then definitely the one in between 2B minus S is, that is a gap analysis.
And what's your measurement for all of this, Doc? Is there a measurement that is in place?
Yes, the measurement is in place is the skill set that are required. Okay, contohnya, the ability to write very well, the ability to articulate your thoughts very well dan sebagainya. So you identify benda tu. Sekarang you tengok, where are you today? Tak boleh bercakap English. Cannot do a presentation. So you know where are, and you know where you want to be lah. Ada tak siapa-siapa yang kat sini yang nak jadi kaya raya? Satu, lagi, dua, sikit je. Lain semua tak nak jadi kaya. Jeffrey tak nak jadi kaya. Kaya raya, okay. So, when you define kaya raya, what is the figure that you're looking at? Try, siapa? Chin Yong Yong, how much? When you define kaya, what do you define? Rumah?
Tak adalah, bukan saya nak cukup lah, jangan kena ada tempat duduk, kena ada kereta lah.
Sekarang ada tempat duduk tak?
Adalah, ada tempat duduk, ada kereta, ada anak, ada suami, ada dog, ada cat, ada duit di dalam bank.
Okay. So selalunya kalau you jumpa satu consultant macam I lah katakan, so macam siapa, Rizwana, mana Rizwana? Ada Rizwana? Where are you Rizwana?
Rizwana jadi billionaire.
Okay, billionaire. Mana Rizwana? Ada tak? Saya tak nampak lah Rizwana. Oh, tak ada. You tak switch on. Okay. So,
I'm not wearing hijab. So.
Oh, you're not apa tu, compliance. Okay, apa?
Yes. Sorry.
Okay. So kita interview lah. Okay, let's have an interview so that you understand. I give you an example. Okay, Rizwana, you will say you want to be a billionaire. Billionaire ni banyak. Okay, billionaire. Okay. So I assume you must be a millionaire lah. Sekarang ni you must be a millionaire lah.
Now, millionaire. Not me lah, my parents lah.
Okay, your parents are millionaire. Okay. So what we do today is that if you want to be a billionaire, so kita touch the figure and then we need to know where you are now. So katakanlah I'm a millionaire. Ataupun macam-macam million lah. So what you do is that you tolak daripada billionaire, you tolak billionaire. So what is the X amount yang actually you tak ada lagi today? Itu dia punya gap. And then daripada situ kita kena buat satu implementation plan. Maknanya macam mana you nak fulfill the gap. Okay, there is a few million that you need to get, then we need to have a strategy on getting that few million. That's what it means.
Yes.
Yeah?
Understood.
So the same as an organization. So tadi Tanah Bala was asking macam mana kita nak buat benda ni. So first kali kita kena define the end state that you want it to be. So kita identify karakter ni ke, karakter ni, karakter. Then kita buat baselining. Where are you today? So from there, you are able to see there is a big gap ataupun a small gap. So when you identify the gap, you need to have the implementation plan. What do you need to do? So kalau organisation, biasanya dia akan tengok lagi tiga benda tu. People, process and technology. Okay, dia akan tengok the people aspect, apa skill set, leadership, apa tu communication skill dan sebagainya. And then dia tengok the processes. Okay, when we have all these things, tapi processes kita tak ada. Kita tak ada career track, kita tak ada career apa tu, strategy on apa tu, people punya development, tak ada, semua tak ada. Itu dalam processes. And how do we actually have all these things? And maybe through technology, enhancement through the technology dan sebagainya, to facilitate all these development agenda. Okay, can you see? Now this is very practical kan. Kalau you panggil consultant, this is what they do. Dia kata, okay, I like to transform my organization. What do you like to transform into? Okay, where are you now? Where you want to be? Where do you aspire to be? Kan. So, kita buatlah satu baseline ni, lepas tu kita buat the 2B. So biasanya the 2B ni, they can envision lah, katakan macam bila kita tanya Rizwana, Rizwana, okay, you want to become a billionaire. So do you know what is a billionaire, for example? Okay, Rizwana kata, okay lah, I roughly know what it is. Okay, can I give you a good example of billionaire? So I take a case study ataupun I do a best practice and I take the situation. Billionaire ni ialah orang yang ada big mansion, ada kereta Rolls Royce, ada ni, ada tu. Okay, is this how we define a billionaire to you? Is this appealing to you? Or you just want to see gold bar saja? Which one do you want to see? So tak kisahlah kalau dia kata I want to have a gold bar saja. Okay, no problem. So this is the end state that you want to be. That's why when we do a lot, bila you jumpa HR consultant, dia akan tunjukkan, okay, you like to be mirroring what kind of organization. Kenapa organization itu bagus? Dan bila kita buat macam tu, okay, you aspire to be like this. Then if we understand, you aspire to be like this, then we can see the gaps. So jawapan you tak boleh vague. Kita katakan, oh saya nak terus jadi kaya. Kaya macam mana? So we need something that is more tangible, where we believe there is there is a goal that can be achieved. Itu yang dimaksudkan sebagai 2B. Okay, is it clear? Ada soalan nak tanya? Zeti tak ada? Zeti geleng kepala? Zeti tak lapar ke?
I have a question, Dok.
Okay.
Sorry, Faizul. Silakan. Faizul, silakan.
Faizul.
Satu soalan ada. Bila sebut tentang succession planning kan, saya lihat kebanyakan GLC yang menggantikan CEO atau group CEO tu kebanyakan ambil orang luar. Kenapa dia tak ambil orang dalam ada?
Okey. Malah juga dengan kedudukan saya di sini. Kenapa ambil orang luar tak ambil orang dalam? Saya pun pernah tanya dia Jabatan Perdana Menteri. Kenapa dia kata macam ni? Ya kalau dalam ni ada inheritance problem. Kalau biasanya dia nak ambil impartial, dia ambil orang luar. Sebab dia ada masalah legacy biasanya. Satu. Dua, depends on certain organizations. Some organizations, they like to put somebody because they believe somebody tu will execute their supaya dia tidak ada organization macam saya kata tadi lah, dia ada macam cultural. And then sometimes this cultural things is not aligned to the bigger agenda of other initiatives, for example. So therefore they put somebody in with the idea of neutralizing certain things, and the organization can achieve the agenda that is set by higher authorities, for example. That could be the case. But of course, some organization, they don't believe in that, especially organization yang boss dia sendiri, the owners ni. Mungkin dia nak letak anak dia, mungkin dia nak letak kawan-kawan dia sebagai boss, ataupun somebody from inside tu kan. Tetapi kalau GLC dan sebagainya, dia bukan kata orang dalam tak boleh bekerja, tapi usually the government may want to review this and see, maybe the candidate yang ada tu tidak sesuai. Maybe the candidate tu kita tak kenal, katakan dan sebagainya. So there are many reasons to that lah. Let's put it that way. Macam position saya ni memang sentiasa diambil orang. Atau dipinjamkan daripada tempat luar lah untuk duduk di sini dan sebagainya. Tidak ada. Memang tidak ada dalam proses di sini orang dalam boleh naik ke atas. Tidak ada. Depends lah. Sebab saya punya pembantu dua-dua pun memang daripada sistem luar lah. Dia pun tak boleh naik pangkat. Okay. Alright. Tanah Bala, you want to ask? Okay, Faizul, okay. Boleh terima?
Dia bukan apa. Sebab saya nampak macam ni doktor. Dia lah. Sebab saya ada pengalaman apa ni buat program dengan beberapa JLC. Okay. Kita boleh lihat perbezaan antara JLC yang mengambil CEO daripada luar berbanding JLC yang ambil CEO daripada dalam. Okay. Sebab saya ambil contoh tempoh hari pada ketika zaman saya buat program bersama dengan international. Sebelum tu adalah dibawa CEO luar. Dia jadi CEO dekat international. Tapi selepas tu dia ada usaha di kalangan staff dalaman kata tak boleh kita nak orang dalam juga. Sebab tu pada ketika tu dia buat naik seorang Datuk Seri Zainal sebagai CEO TNB pada ketika tu. Dan success story-nya lebih bagus berbanding dengan ambil orang luar ada. Sebab tu saya nampak sebenarnya dia kadang-kadang kita pun terfikir kan, adakah ya sebab kadang-kadang dia ada so-called wahyu kat atas tu kan, yang nak juga orang dia naik, itu pun satu hal juga. Tapi bagi nak menyebabkan sebuah organisasi itu bertahan, lebih baik ambil orang dalam yang boleh memahami tentang budaya, tentang cara kerja itu untuk membawa benda tu ke depan kan. Ada mungkin pandangan peribadi saya lah.
Macam TNB tu slightly mungkin dia banyak perkiraan lain sebab TNB ni macam for example Menteri Kewangan kedua pun pernah menjadi CEO kat situ. Jadi dia punya cerita mungkin berlainan. Mungkin bila dia masuk, dia bawa orang dia dan sebagainya. Maybe it's a different expectation dan sebagainya. So bila dia keluar, they get somebody from inside to become the CEO dan sebagainya. So mungkin ada sedikit kesenambungan because orang tu dah lama kat situ. Cara kerja orang luar lain, cara kerja dalam lain. Saya tak tahu because kerajaan yang memilih decision siapa yang akan jadi CEO untuk organisasi ini. Mungkin masa dia masuk ada benda-benda yang mungkin kerajaan nak, yang mungkin dia realize that this guy can deliver, for example. Okay. Kita tak pasti sebab benda-benda kadang-kadang benda ni ada kena dengan politik dan sebagainya. So whether this is good or this is bad is very subjective. For employees, for example, they can sense whether this is a right move ke tak right move because employee ni pula kena faham. Most of the employees, they are reluctant to changes. TNB is not an organisation that change quite easily. Kalau orang luar masuk pun they're not very friendly lah kepada orang luar. Contohnya bila CEO ni dah keluar dulu, ramai yang pekerja-pekerja dia yang masuk time dia pun kena keluar juga. They're not very open to people coming in at a very high level. Itu TNB punya style. Dia lebih nak orang dia lah. So kalau that is the mentality, so when you bring in somebody from outside, they definitely feel that this is a big threat. Begitulah. Jadi dia nak bekerjasama pun mungkin susah dan bila dia bagi satu penilaian, dia akan bagi satu penilaian yang mungkin kurang baik. Sebab saya tahu ramai juga pekerja yang bila CEO tak ada, diorang diberhentikan terus. Ataupun ditamatkan kontrak, tidak disambung dan sebagainya. TNB is something like that lah. Banyak organisasi lain pun yang begitu ya. Okay, boleh ya? Okay, Tara balik? Yeah.
Yeah, Doc. In conclusion, I just want to repeat again our
conclusion
essay
means we're finishing,
question.
is it? Yeah,
No,
finishing,
not
is it?
finishing. No, I'm not finishing yet. That's your decision. Tapi Doc nak tanya, could you mind repeating again the question that we're supposed to write the essay for? Just for
What question?
the essay. The essay. What essay
Okay,
question?
the essay. Okay. So the essay is like okay. You can craft it lah. But the ideas is like this. Okay. How? Okay. You know, strategic. Intentions is very critical to organization. Any organization must have strategy. Okay. How is it that HR can be seen as a critical element in achieving those strategies? So it is somewhere around that idea. I thought you sudah siap dah tadi.
Okay, thank you.
Ni baru
Thank
tanya
you.
soalan. Tadi dah kata 800.
Tak ada lah, Doctor. Tak ada. I got affected with your other question with the dogs, so terlupa dah.
Terlupa dah. Okay, all right.
Doctor, I have question.
Yes.
Okay, just nice you cover this topic sebab I punya KPI untuk 2024 is developing the succession planning for the organisation. Okay. Is there an optimal timeline for succession planning?
Itu yang tadi saya tanya. Kalau somebody tu ada 10 tahun, is it a good idea? No, it's not a good idea. It's too long, isn't it? Okay, can I hold somebody for 2-3 years? It's also very subjective. When is that? How old is the person, for example? What kind of things you need to do? I think what usually a good idea is that you need to do a good estimation. Okay. For example, you can have a succession planning for somebody yang daripada senior manager nak pergi jadi director. So you know a timeline. Kalau macam government is very difficult. It's a long time. 5 tahun, 6 tahun, 7 tahun. Lama. Dia nak naik pangkat. Tapi dalam organisation, you boleh tengok sendiri organisation you. I mean, after 2-3 years, people don't get promoted, they leave the company. You akan lebih tahu. So there is a certain expectation, for example. If they cannot go, akan cabut. So you know, dia ni kalau duduk kat situ 2-3 tahun, then kita mesti ada somebody yang akan take over the position. Is 2-3 years is acceptable? Okay. If 2-3 years is acceptable, then have a good succession planning for 2-3 years. Itu maksud dia. Kalau dalam government, dia tak ada choice. Dia maknanya bila dia nak naik pangkat daripada 41 ke 44, dia kena belajar 5-6 tahun. Okay. Jadi dia akan duduk dalam sistem tu. Dia tak ada kata, alamak 5-6 tahun tak dapat, aku belah lah. Tak boleh. Because they are trained like that. So you cannot get somebody who becomes a jusa at the age of 28. Tak boleh. Dia pun tahu the expectation at what age they can actually achieve. Yeah. So yang ini maksud saya, you kena understand your organisation. Okay. Is that an answer?
Yeah, got it. Thank you.
Tapi succession planning ni, dia yang penting dia, after you find the talent, then it becomes talent management. Yes, you are managing the talent to achieve the succession. Sebenarnya. Tetapi it doesn't mean once you have you have identified the talent is the right candidate. You could also got the wrong candidate. Because as I said, people change. Tiba-tiba dia jadi orang problematic. Siapa kita nak kena buat? So you have choices. Macam saya kata tadi, when you have choices, you can decide, should I keep on investing on the same person, bagi dia lagi itu ini, or should I say goodbye? You have to make that call again. Right? Macam saya juga cakap tadi, the only thing that you have to stick on is your family members. Lain daripada tu, you can decide bye-bye. If that's not the right candidate, ataupun after some time, you invest, you realize that the investment is not achieving the ROI, atau ROI dia terlampau lama, I cannot stay on, then goodbye. So you need to make that decision. That decision has to be, betul lah, maknanya calculative punya decision lah, dia bukan hard punya decision. Maknanya bila kita buat decision tu, it must be based on certain characters lah, criteria. Kan, betul lah?
Okay, one more question.
Yeah.
In regards to the selection of the internal candidates, because we already identified the key areas and position, the critical roles in our organization. So is it ideally to have only one candidate, or can we have more than one candidate?
Usually the good idea is to have a few candidates. Sebenarnya janganlah, dan bukan ramai sangat lah. Mungkin 2 ke candidate and so on. Depending on the post. Tapi kalau ada CEO punya position, sekali you ada 5 candidate, ini akan bergaduh lah. Kan, kalau ada 2 pun mungkin akan bergaduh juga. Ini kan pula 5 kan. Jangan pula lepas ni tanah balan keluar kata, I nak ada potential ada 5 girlfriend. Kita tak sure siapa yang akan jadi isteri aku. Jadi lebih baik ada 5 girlfriend. Matilah kau kan, betul tak tak? Balik kena sembelih lah kan.
Betul.
So what is a reasonable number that you can put at the dekat belakang to become the next in line? Okay, ada lagi soalan? Siapa yang ni? Siapa kelaparan? Lady Gaga dah lapar. Lapar dah. Tak apa, boleh makan. Sambil belajar boleh makan. Next week kita pergi hotel ni. Venice. Sambil belajar kita boleh makan. I was little bit disappointed. I thought Aniza is
Datuk Seri belanja.
Datuk Seri mana? Datuk Seri senyap je.
Ada. Belanja
Datuk
coconut. Belanja coconut.
Ya ke? Lah, tadi I ingat Aniza tadi ada buat keropok. Dia kata tak ada keropok lah.
Tak ada keropok. Okay, I got a question. So, talking about succession planning, when you say, okay, so maybe have maybe 2 or 3 person to basically take up the position. So let's say we talk about in the same senior manager level, and then you have, let's say, 3 candidates. Do you actually tell them that they on the way to basically, in evaluation stage of becoming the next, fill up the position, or is it going to be just internal HR or higher management position where you just evaluate without actually telling them that they are being assessed?
Okay. Usually, if it is a very high position, they would know. They would know. Yeah, they would know. That's why some people take this very badly. Once the decision is made, then one of them decide to leave the organization. I've been in that situation. I faced that situation many times. Like for example, the IT company that I used to work for, I was the manager. Maksudnya I was a manager in the CEO's office. Now, it was like this. After that, of course, he became the second highest shareholders lah. But before that, the main shareholders tu, dia ada 5 ke orang kat bawah dia yang bekerja. I think all of them, together there were 5 of them. So one of them became the main shareholder and he was the main person lah. He passed away. When he passed away, the share was passed to his son. Yes, so his son became the highest shareholder. Tapi because his son was not interested in the business, so masa sebelum dia pass away tu, there were 2 candidates. Daripada 4 ke 5 yang lain-lain tu, ada 2 candidate yang very likely to become the next CEO lah. Okay. Now, the issue is that one of them who seems to be a little bit more adventurous than the one who got the job. But the one who got the job ni was a sales director. Okay, now the evaluation was done because one was an operational person, the other one was a sales director. So the one as a sales director had many networks. Dia boleh buka pintu dan sebagainya. Even though the other one would seem to be a bit more successful dan sebagainya. That's why the other one felt very bitter and left the organization. Because he felt that he deserved the position lebih baik daripada the one who got it. The one who got it was given a job because they kata, look, we are in the business of IT where we need to sell to many customers dan sebagainya. And this guy seems to know many customers. So that was the decision made. Yeah. So memang dia kadang-kadang bila jadi begini memang it was very bad lah. Sama juga dengan I was working for one of the GLC in the past where the CEO dia macam ni. Dia ada 3 timbalan. Saya timbalan nombor 3. Ada timbalan nombor 2 dan timbalan nombor 1. Now, what so happened was that timbalan nombor 2 is far senior dan timbalan nombor 1. Far senior. Dia pun akan pencet lebih awal. So bila CEO jalan, so saya tak boleh sebab saya paling muda. And then so these two, it was quite tricky situation because this the timbalan nombor 1 he had something like 8 years to go. Timbalan nombor 2 dia ada lebih kurang dalam 2 tahun saja. So he felt that why don't you just give me the job? Then I can become CEO for 2 years. Then I can pass the baton to the other guy. He has another 6 years to go. But when the minister make the decision, so this guy felt very bad because he kata, look, I'm far experienced in this guy, apa dan sebagainya. Then I will finish the job as a jusabi lah. Macam saya lah jusabi dia tak boleh naik lagi tinggi lagi. You understand? So that's why I said kalau you ada ramai lagi complicated it can be. So what will happen to the rest? Kan? Dan tanah balan lah. Dia kata ada 5 girlfriend. He had say goodbye to 4 of them. Susah tu. Betul ke?
Betul, setuju. Which brings me to the next question, Doc. Next question. Whatever you've mentioned, we take note of it. But how do you apply it in this current methodology that is currently used in the marketplace, and it's called Agile Human Resource Management. So, Scrum. How do you involve Scrum in all of this, Doc? If I may ask.
Tak fair lah. Kau bayar RM50, kau tanya soalan RM200, aku buka satu kelas training. Ini nak menjawab assignment soalan lain ni, Scrum ni. Mana boleh?
Tak apa. Tanya je, jangan. You can not answer it. But that's a question lah, because Jawahir has pointed out a few things. So I just brought that up in just to offer some perspective.
Dia agile ni, dia ada banyak metodologi. Kalau kita tengok quarter pun ada change management. Lepas tu ada satu lagi apa nama that guy ya. I forgot his name. Dia, kalau quarter ada 8-step strategy. AOTTER. Then there's a, apa nama this guy? I forgot his name. Dia punya step, 3 strategi saja. Dia freeze, Lepas tu make changes, unfreeze. Dia ada macam tu. Lepas tu scrum pun ada. All these sort of things are apa tu techniques lah. Techniques to deal with changes sebenarnya. Dia bukan nak kata ada satu strategi that is good. Kalau Scrum ni dia pun ada dia punya master dia. Kan ada master dia yang apa tu yang deal with Scrum punya methodology. I wouldn't say there is one strategy or one method that is superior than the others. It depends on the complexity of your organization. It depends on the tolerance of how you want to mitigate all these strategies dan sebagainya, execute strategies lah. But for simple understanding is that whatever you do, it has to be practical. Then whatever you do, you must also take into consideration of risk mitigations. Macam Aniza lah kan macam tadi dia tanya macam mana dan sebagainya. So adakah 2-3 orang insufficient, we tell them. So these are all the risks that you must take into consideration. Tapi selalunya at the lower level, maknanya kalau daripada executive nak jadi senior executive, kita tak bagi tahu mereka. Kita jarang bagi tahu mereka. Kita tengok banyak executive and at the end of the day we make some evaluation dan sebagainya, then we just promote one of them. Tapi for top position, usually they are considered as one or these are the ones that are going to be the next CEO in line dan sebagainya. Yeah.
Jewel in the crown, so to speak lah.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Okay.
bro. I brought that up just to offer perspective juga. There's no right or wrong, so long it's relevant and it's practical and it's humane. So that's my point lah. Tak apa. Thank you.
Okay. Ini dia tanya Simon tu, tahap subjek tadi dia tanya Simon, so aku jawab. Betul lah si Auta si Tanah Bala ni, betul lah.
Yes, thank you. You just answered our question. Terima kasih.
Jack, anything that you want to ask Jack? Jack senyap hari ni. Oh, I have a question about employee Rizwana cakap. With mental illness like anxiety or depression, how are we supposed to handle this when it's disrupting their performance at work? Okay. Sebab tu tadi saya kata, a lot of these things, okay, dalam organisation, you have to look into your policy. Yeah. In terms of policy. Dalam government pun ada benda macam ni. Ada sampai at the end of the day, dia kena ada medical board out katakan. Ada. Kalau dalam government, they are more careful in their assessment, bagi peluang macam-macam doktor punya assessment, lepas tu you ada medical leave dan sebagainya, and eventually they have to go through separation. Dalam government, it can take a long process for somebody to be boarded out lah. Tapi dalam private organisation, they have very little tolerance because all this thing is a cost to them. So as they are profit maximizer, definitely they want to reduce the cost as much as possible. Kan? Jadi mitigation dia lain. Now, I think if you want to be very fair, you must have a good policy on how to deal with these people lah. Contohnya kalau ada mental illness, dia mesti ada go through some reports daripada doktor yang specifying what sort of illness it is, how critical it is. Kalau orang tu memang depressed kan. I mean, how many of you have this situation where you have actually employees yang depressed? Ada tak?
Saya ada.
Ada, you ada. Okay.
Saya ada Nepali punya. Tetapi bila diorang punya macam family ada orang meninggal kan. Diorang ada satu culture macam dia 1 minggu dia tak boleh makan. Just makan nasi dengan itu milk yang sudah tak tahu apa milk masam ya. Dia just makan macam tu. Lepas tu saya ada satu employee dia terus 10 hari, tak tahu berapa hari dia tak mau makan tau. So saya pun panggil dia mai sebab HR sudah marah lah. Sudah marah kata ugut dia nak hantar balik. Lepas tu saya panggil dia mai. I just macam tap dia punya shoulder kan. Dia sudah nangis lah. Dia nangis teruk, dia kata dia punya mak mati apa-apa. So ini sudah jadi depression lah itu.
I think this is a situation. Okay, anybody else have other issues? Tadi siapa? Ni siapa angkat tangan tadi? Ni Lady Gaga angkat tangan tadi. What happened to your employee?
Same case, anxiety, depression, but it's not because family problem or whatever. This was like the one my wife saying with the mother died, that is something else lah, got logic reason. I wouldn't say depression, you need to have a logic reason, but this person had anxiety, memang teruk anxiety suddenly. And at the end, we tried many times, like we tried giving them therapy ourselves by our company doctor. Our benefits were really good, helping employee health, well-being. Still, the employee left the company. So at times you go like, you try really hard with the best way possible and you still cannot achieve that goal. Sometimes the employee will make their own decision. I tend to leave. But then it made me realize now, I still have contact with the employee. It made me realize now, it's not personal aspect. It was the job that was giving the employee anxiety. So no matter how much support you give the employee, he or she will want to leave because the job, they did not like the job. So it's connected to organization behavior also lah kan?
Yes, yes. I think dia ada a few things. Why I'm gathering this thing because dia ada jawapan lain-lain. Tadi siapa lagi yang kata ada issue about staff? Okay, Zeti? What happened?
Yeah, I have two staff. Both of them ada ADHD and depression, stage 3 dengan doktor punya reports. But this is sebab diorang punya personal issues, not job related punya issues. Ada yang gaduh dengan boyfriend dia, then cut dia punya tangan sendiri, you know. So to babysit them and selalu nak kena buat dia orang faham, okay, dekat kerja you tak boleh fikir pasal benda-benda macam ni. So benda untuk babysit this staff memang saya rasa penat lah.
Okay, right, good. Any Ilham?
Okay, I have an employee, two employees, one with anxiety, with the diagnosed anxiety. The second one is depression, but it was undiagnosed. Okay, both of these people are in my team, but it does not kacau their work performance. But they do sometimes get anxiety, and I do calm them and take 5 minutes and come back to me, we talk about it if you want to talk about it, and for me it was a little bit challenging because it's two different dynamic and two different approaches. When you're upset about something is not working, you kind of have to tell them, but you kind of have to tell them like in a very, very sensitive manner. And maybe at the time I'm not sensitive, I have my own thing, and you're trying to balance it all. So how do you really, I don't know, go about it? You want to be sensitive about it, but I know it's not affect work performance. But it's also like individual, kan? You're a person as a whole at the end of the day. So how do we go about it really? Like in terms of HR wise, do we even put that in their work performance thing? Do you like how?
Okay. Nur Hashida has raised her hand. You wanted to say something?
Okay. Saya ada seorang kawan lah, dalam satu department ni, different unit. Dia actually dia from GIS, and then dia serap masuk ke ke permanent. Previously dia under GIS, dia tak ada banyak pun kerja yang very tough kerja lah. And then bila comes to the permanent, dia diletakkan satu unit yang agak challenge dengan dia, challenge dengan people yang ada experience, dan dia dengan disebabkan itu dia menjadi rasa anxiety tu datang dan dia simpan almost 1 year, and then dia luahkan perasaan tu lah sampai dia tak ada rasa nak kerja dekat situ dah, dia rasa nak berhenti. Itu I tanya dia, kenapa baru sekarang you cakap, kenapa daripada awal itu dia tak cakap kan? Benda sampai you tahap you tak nak buat kerja, you rasa tak ada hati nak buat kerja tu. Yes, dia kena bersaing dengan orang-orang sekeliling yang ada experience daripada dia. Tapi itulah yang dia memang murung dan dia macam tak ada semangat nak kerja sebab dia pun related dengan saya lah, kerja-kerja saya tu. So bila I try to macam convince dia, kalau you nak berhenti, you kena cari lain dulu. You tak boleh berhenti macam tu saja. So dia punya mindset dia nak kerja, balik pukul 8, pergi kerja pukul 8, balik pukul 5. Tapi the nature of kerja dekat saya, dekat tempat kita orang tu bukan macam tu. Dia akan bawa ke sampai ke lebih pada ni lah, bawa tu office lah. Because dia punya nature kerja dah memang macam tu, under logistik kan. Bila logistik, you jaga cost and then I jaga operation. So you memang nak tak nak you kena hadap. Tapi apa yang saya boleh cakap kan, you kenapa baru setahun you cakap, at least you kena highlight this matter to your managers, so that your managers at least tahu apa dia nak buat, apa yang sepatut dia nak kena ni lah, maybe dia kena adjust balik dia punya ni, dia punya staff kan. Lepas tu now dia macam bukan sebersalah, dia rasa macam nak tender. I kata you fikir dulu, fikir 2-3 kali, sebab sekarang quite tough nak cari kerja. Kalau you nak kerja, you kena try you masuk dalam government. Maybe itulah you punya nature, diri you sesuai dengan government, masuk pukul 8 dan dia balik pukul 5. You kena fikir kat situ. Tapi kalau you boleh nak sustain dengan kerja kat tempat sekarang, it's better lah. And then you mungkin boleh cari tempat lain, di apartment lain before you quit dalam company tu. Itulah yang saya pun tengok dia pun macam alahai lemaunya dia kalau bercakap dengan saya bab kerja kan. Selain daripada tu, in term of communication dengan staff yang lain, okey je. Dia memang okey. Just matter dia punya kerja dia tu itself dan dia dengan team dia tu agak challenge lah, sebab yang lagi staff lain tu memang ada experience. So quite tough kat situ. Itu je lah.
Okay, I gather.
Doktor ada soalan untuk I lah, I nampak dekat chat, meeting chat.
Meeting chat, okay.
Jawahir, since you are doing HR, I wonder whether mental illnesses are mentioned in the employee handbook or some kind of company policy. And on top of that, to add on Ilham question, will it give any impact? An impact on employee work status?
Okay, actually saya tengok benda ni sebenarnya apa yang dia cakap tadi is very clear. Sebenarnya dalam organisation ni, organisation ni dia it depends on kita punya culture. Kalau masa saya kerja dekat UK dulu, dia very simple. Dia ada human rights at the same time, because human rights ni terlampau besar sangat. Jadi dia tak mau tanya banyak sangat soalan. Tak kisahlah, sebab that's why I asked you just now, what are the issues? Some people, they have financial issues, they affect the performance. Some people have relationship issues that affect the performance. Some people, they have so many other issues that affect. Organization say, I don't want to know. Because when I employ you, you're supposed to do something that is a KPI. Do you achieve your KPI? You do not achieve it. You don't achieve your KPI, there is a mechanism to have a separation. Habis cerita. You don't want to manage. Tapi ada pula organisation yang sebenarnya dia tidak very strong in that. Macam tadi dia kata, ada tak dalam, dia sebenarnya dia implicit tau, dalam dia punya handbook tu, dia cerita pasal performance saja. Dia tak cerita benda lain. Lantak kau lah. Macam mana kau datang, jadi kau perform saja. Kan? Unless you take some illegal stuff ke, ambil dadah ke, dan effect, itu lain lah. Itu cerita lain. Itu dalam klausa lain. Tapi some organisation, dia very sympathetic. Kalau you ada some other issues, then macam apa you all buat lah. Macam okay, let me mentor. Dan my question is macam Ilham kata tadi, ataupun macam Zeti bagi tahu tadi, sampai bila pula aku nak babysitting ni? When is the time off dia? Jadi kita pula jadi susah. Sebab apa? Dia tak ada, dia becoming very grey. Kadang-kadang sekejap-sekejap dia nangis. Kadang-kadang okay, I tepuk-tepuk sikit kan. Lepas tu dia okey balik. Lepas tu tepuk. Tepuk ni berapa lama nak tepuk? 3 bulan, 6 bulan. Lepas tu tiba-tiba sampai performance evaluation, kita pula kesian. Yelah, takkanlah nak bagi markah 70. Kan? Sebab kita dah tahu masalah dia. Kalau dekat UK dia kata gini, you take time off. You figure out yourself what you want to do. Kan? Dia pun hilang lah 4 hari ke 5 hari ke, you pakai you punya ni. You punya annual leave. Kita faham. Ambil je annual leave katakan. Lepas tu you settle. So I think kalau you want to be very tough, then you stick by the book. If you think that you have all the time in the world to manage this thing, ataupun you ada department yang manage orang-orang yang ada isu ni, then mungkin okay. Saya tak pasti. Tapi the organisation as a whole have to be very objective. Kalau dia subjektif, then it is going to be very difficult. Memang kita ni semua ada macam-macam masalah. Sebab tu kata kalau parents ada meninggal dan sebagainya, memang ada compassionate leave. Memang ada. Tapi dia bagi banyak tu, kita understand ada leave, we have to take other leave. Lepas habis ada leave ni, kita ada mekanisme yang lain. Tapi kalau kita nak tahu pula gini, jadi ada masalah besar. Actually, what business am I in? I have an objective. I need to achieve my objective. Right? So you need to be part of me, bukan I need to be part of you. Okay, faham tak? I'm not saying Zeti is a bad boss. Mungkin she try to do this, dia ada leeway dan sebagainya. Tapi certain organisation dia memang dia tidak ada masa nak entertain all sort of things. Dia pun kata,
But doktor, my staff ni, yang 2 staff ni, dia orang achieve dia punya KPI.
Dia sama juga. Dia macam ni. Dia sometimes people achieve, but they bring bad aura. They bring bad environment. Contohnya yang akan affect benda-benda lain. Dia memang ada dalam organisation structure kita atau organisation behavior kita. Kita akan kata bad influence dan sebagainya akan create tu apa tu. Dia orang ni boleh kena tangkap dekat tempat lain juga. Dalam environment culture begini kita tak tolerate. Okay, you could be very good at whatever you're doing, but then you are giving a very poor punya ni lah in terms of working harmony dan sebagainya. So kita tak nak this sort of things.
Betul, I rasa I pula yang boleh kena mental health punya problem.
So kadang-kadang nanti kan dia tu nanti affect you pula kan.
Itulah.
So saya tak kata salah, bukan beginilah. Kadang-kadang kita punya culture ni kita very sympathetic. Kesian kat orang macam saya lah, kesian kat staff yang tidak renew kontrak dan sebagainya. Kita pula fikir. Sampai staff pun cakap, CEO pun ada masa untuk fikir untuk orang ni. Sampai staff I tu cakap, doktor saya tahu doktor ni busy sebagai seorang doktor. Tak apa doktor, saya cari kerja sendiri. Kita pula cari kerja untuk dia kan. Saya pula sibuk telefon kawan-kawan. Ada 5 orang ni tak dapat kerja, gini, tak renew kontrak dia dan sebagainya. So boleh tak you tengok ambil gitu kan. Orang yang affected pun cakap, kau ada masa untuk fikir pasal aku. Okay.